Hello everyone and welcome back to The Other Castle.
That's right, I'm Andrea from The Other Castle.
And my name is Tom, bringing you news and weather every hour on the hour.
Top of the story right here, we are The Other Castle, the podcast that brings you the plot, lore, and more behind all your favorite games.
All right, well, back to our real voices. My name is Tom.
And I'm Andrea.
And over here on The Other Castle, we bring you the plot, lore, and more of all your favorite games. As she said, that means we're going to bring you through the production of the game, then we're going to take you through the entire story of the game itself.
Yeah.
If this is your first time listening, you can check out our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Oh my gosh, you can't drop it, can you?
I'm gotta shake it off. It's freaking me out. On our website, we have links to our Instagram. There's also going to be links to that wherever you're listening to this. There's links to our Discord. There's links to our item shop and links to our Patreon.
Over on our Patreon, we do tiers as low as $2 a month with a 7-day free trial. We do monthly episodes both on and off season.
If you're on our Patreon, you're listening to this a day early, and we love you very much.
Yes, and then we have a $5 and up tier, which gives you a special call out at the end of the episode, as well as video series The Other Castle plays around.
And sometimes we just do silly shit.
Yes, we do.
I made Tom cry out of joy. And hopefully we cry out of joy today, because today we are covering Killer Frequency.
Oh, goodness. Killer Frequency. This has been a big requested episode for us.
Yes, this week's episode has been suggested in our Discord within the game suggestion chat. So if you do like our show and you have a game that you're like, you guys need to shut up and do this game I like specifically or I'll kick you, which is a very specific email I got. First of all, don't reach out telling me you're going to kick me.
Right.
Second of all, if you have a loving suggestion, leave it in our Discord in the game suggestions chat. This week's episode was suggested by Hey It's Jexel, The Alligator, Zanny, and Amber.
All right, well, let's get into it then.
So I also want to say, for this season, I just did a blind scroll through our Discord and was like, yep, I'll do that. Why not? So Killer Frequency did pop up on my blind scroll of our Discord game suggestions. We also take them through email and through DMs on our Instagram, but for this season, I was like, let's just do it on Discord. It'll keep it a lot easier. And now I'm going to tell you everything I can about this game.
Honestly, I gotta be real, I had never heard of this game at all until it had been suggested on our Discord.
Hell yeah. So Killer Frequency came out worldwide across PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, PC, and in VR on MetaQuest 2 on June 1st of 2023. The development started in kind of a funky but common way. This started in a 2019 game jam called Adventure Jam.
Oh, a game jam. So, like, just a bunch of developers coming together to put something out real fast.
Yeah, just a quick prompt, get it done. Adventure Jam is an annual game jam with just one topic requirement. The game has to be a new adventure. Now, that's a loose term on adventure. It doesn't have to be Uncharted, but, you know, they welcome point and clicks, walking sims, anything as long as it leads to an adventure, which is kind of the core of a lot of game jams. It'll be like, I think there was a Great Gatsby jam a couple of years ago where they're like, just take the prompt of the Great Gatsby and make a game.
Okay, did anything good come from that one?
A Polygon video on the topic of it came out where they just went into like, what the fuck is a Gatsby jam? I haven't played any of them, but I read the book.
Good enough.
It's great. I like the Daisy perfume that inspired Marc Jacobs.
Okay, yeah, that's my favorite scent from you.
Yeah, it's great. So a team of 10 people from Team 17, the name of the developer, entered and gave birth to Killer Frequency. Team 17 is a British game developer and publisher with 3 offices across Wakefield, Nottingham, and Manchester. They opened their doors in 1990, and the team primarily focuses on developing and producing indie games, including over 25 entries in the Worms franchise.
Oh, Worms. Okay, I am familiar with that.
I'm not. This was so weird to see just a wiki page full of the word worms. Between 1995 and 2025, they have released 27 Worms games.
Hell yeah, good for them.
These include Worms Armageddon, Worms A Space Odyssey, Worms Battle Island, Worms Golf.
One of these things are not like the other.
No, and I don't think... I got nothing to say about Worms.
They've got worms. That's what we got from it.
This team published the first Overcooked game and worked in tandem with Ghost Town Games to develop and publish Overcooked 2, a game Tom and I legally cannot play together.
Ever again.
For safety reasons.
Yeah.
It's honestly like we've both worked in hospitality and food service so much it's triggering.
Yeah.
To be like, get me the fucking tomatoes. And like, we watch the Gordon Ramsay shows. It's just, it's too much. It's not relaxing. I want to play a game to relax. It is the opposite of relaxing to play
Nothing
Overcooked.
relaxing about those games.
If you find comfort in playing Overcooked, just get a customer service job.
Yeah.
It'll give you the same thrill and you'll make your couple bucks an hour.
I was going to say, you'll get paid for it.
Yeah. Recently, they supported the publishing of Dredge and Date Everything, the game where you date everything.
Dredge is solid, too, though.
Unfortunately, Team 17 is also the deranged mind behind 2009's Leisure Suit Larry box office bust.
Oh, classic.
That game got a 1 out of 10 for the UK version for the official Xbox Magazine. Xbox Magazine went on to call that game their worst rated game of the year and the worst game on the Xbox 360 so far.
Oh my god.
It was also dubbed an Astro Turd. So following the Astro Turd, the studio had some work to do to regain the trust of the public. In 2019, the bones for Killer Frequency were formed during Adventure Jam, but they also worked diligently afterwards to evolve from that original version. Game developer Henry Schofield says, "I don't think it's possible for the design team or narrative team to create the exact same kind of story and feeling that was there in the original version. It's just the way with different people. Say you asked 5 people to draw a dog, you'd get back 5 different dogs." Which, like, okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
A lot of the original game did make it over to the final product, but naturally with a lot of quality of life updates and a much more fleshed out plot. Our friend Game Dev Henry describes it as, "We started off with the bones of what was already there and asked what needs to be carried over. Things like the killer, the town, Forrest, and the producer, Peggy. But then we had free reign to develop each of those elements, adding elements like the background of the killer and their relationship to the town. Now, as I've revealed, there is a killer. This is a horror game."
Oh, goodness. Another horror game. So this is right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
I like that they seem to use the game jam as more of a brainstorming situation for them.
It is, like, what is it? Under pressure, you make diamonds kind of shit of,
Yeah.
like, just get it done because done is sometimes better than perfect.
Right.
Put something on the... We need Ken Levine to do a goddamn game jam. Because he's taken way too long with Ghost Story on Judas and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, but he did another interview.
I'm going to walk into the ocean.
And find Rapture.
And find Rapture. Exactly. You know what's funny? You say that about horror games, though. The other night, you're like, you're not even, like, a big horror girly. I was like, I love horror movies and games. What do you mean? You're like, I don't know. It's not really your thing. I was like, sure. It's 100% my thing, but okay. Now, this is a first-person horror game set in the late 80s in a radio station, which... Can you explain what that is for our younger audience?
Which one, the late 80s or a radio station?
Exactly. This is also the first virtual reality game for Team 17, which is something exciting for the developer and the publisher. This was a massive undertaking as it was the first VR title for most of the dev team to be working on as well. It took the developers around 6 months just to get the doors to open and close the way they wanted to in VR.
Just for the doors?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Killer Frequency stars actor Josh Cowdery as the aforementioned Forrest, a radio DJ. He's had some smaller roles in The Avengers and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And he's done a handful of video games, but this is his biggest title in the gaming world. The game pays a lot of homage to classic horror, so keep a lookout for any Easter eggs because I can fully assure you they are intentional. John Lappin, a developer on Killer Frequency, was asked in an interview, "What's your favorite scary movie?" To which he rightfully said, Scream.
Good for that's the right answer.
It's appropriate, and he also outed himself as a massive Until Dawn fan.
Nice.
Rightfully so, but keep that in mind. We're going in a similar direction.
Okay.
Killer Frequency was announced in early 2023 with a heart-thumping trailer featuring sweeping shots of the atmosphere, gameplay, and some fantastic 80s jams. So, let's pump up the jams and get this record spinning. I have the golden path laid out in front of us, and I will admit where and exactly when I fucked up an otherwise really great run of this game. This is Killer Frequency. It's Tuesday, September 3rd, 1987. It's dark at night, and a man is walking down a dark alley between old brick buildings. There's trash littered on the ground, and it's quiet. The air is cold, with frost sticking to his skin as he walks towards the warmth of his office building. He just took the trash out and is heading back inside the office. His heavy work boots echo his steps as the alley gets more narrow. It's late and the small town is asleep, except for 2 people in the building he works in upstairs. Being alone outside is a bit reassuring because this alley is creepy. He gets to the back door to his office and enters. The hallway that leads to the alley has some storage boxes and a lone light leading the way. The door to the alley closes behind him, locking him into the comfort of being indoors. The light flickers a bit, nothing unusual as this is kind of a shitty old building. As the light cuts and comes back on, the door ahead of him that leads into the office opens. He didn't think anyone else was down here. He can feel his heart beating hard, pounding in rhythm as his palms begin to seep with sweat. The light goes out for a moment and comes back on, revealing the silhouette of the person who opened the interior door. The light flickers again, and the silhouette is now face to face with the man. He looks up at the figure in a long, dark belted coat with a white mask holding wavy dark hair back. The mask has dark holes where the eyes should be, and the jaw is broken off. The masked man breathes heavily, his shoulders raising and lowering with deep inhales. He tilts his head to the side, and his hand tenses around the hunting knife he's holding. The light flickers, and under the shade of darkness, the masked man reaches out and grabs our lone employee. We get the title card, complete with 80s style neon colors, Killer Frequency.
Oh, that is a classic, just like slasher opening.
Dun dun dun! And I do want to say off the bat immediately, the masked man does look eerily similar to the psycho character from Until Dawn.
I was just gonna say, okay,
Yeah.
all right, that makes a lot of sense.
It's such a similar mask, and I will put this on our Instagram of the side-by-side because they're like, oh, yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's totally the same thing. They're the same picture.
Upstairs, we meet our protagonist, a 47-year-old Aries man named Forrest Nash. Forrest Nash is a former big deal. He's a radio DJ from Chicago that would spin on the airwaves for millions of listeners. But now he's here. He's in the tiny town of Gallows Creek, Iowa, after some bad shit went down in Chicago. Now, we do not know what exactly happened, and he does not tell us, so we don't have to worry about a reveal.
What his fall from grace was.
Yeah.
Honestly, at 47, I hate to say that, but he was kind of on the tail end of his popularity, probably.
How old is Howard Stern?
Yeah, but also, is he on radio anymore?
He's on extraterrestrial radio.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever Forrest did, we know it resulted in him getting blacklisted from all reputable stations in the country. So not necessarily aging out here.
Oh, he said some bad things on air.
He said a slur.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, this station doesn't have any kind of reputation to lose, so he was a perfect fit. He hasn't been in town very long and is still living in a motel while he gets settled into town. Forrest is bummed with his situation, but he is dedicated to the craft of DJing the airwaves, so after some dead ends, he's here, working the midnight shift at KFAM 189.16, hosting The Scream.
Oh, God, he couldn't even get like a decent time slot.
No.
He's really blacklisted.
He's got that overnight. This is a late night call-in show that runs some records, but is mostly just Forrest vamping. The big hook is that Forrest will scream, and people can call in and guess what the scream is about. It's not good. It's a bad show.
Not entirely creative.
No, it's just dumb. In another room divided by a window sits Peggy. Peggy is a 28-year-old Gemini with short brown hair. She's from Gallows Creek originally and has been working at the station for a long time. She's the producer for The Scream and is the sound engineer. She sits in her sound booth, managing the phone lines, reminding Forrest what to do, and managing the mixes. To isolate Forrest's audio correctly, she stays out of that room and is actually not allowed to leave her sound engineer room during the show. She is a delightful townie and has a lovely, bubbly disposition. Forrest asks if Peggy heard that and looks up from his DJ desk to Peggy. Peggy's desk and Forrest's desk face each other, and they can see each other through a big glass pane. Forrest says he heard, I don't know, was that yelling? Maybe a howl? And Peggy asks if he's joking. Forrest says no, but figures he might just be hearing things. Peggy is disappointed, saying, and here I was thinking you'd finally started to ease up. She teases him, saying, oh, you probably just heard some cats outside. Peggy insists that she and Forrest run through the pre-flight checks, which is just a tutorial on using the record player and the mixing board. Forrest asks if she has to call it a pre-flight check every time because he is so over everything. And Peggy reminds him that their boss, the radio station manager, Reggie, insists on it before every show, and he pays them to call it a pre-flight check. Reggie's weird. From her sound engineer room, Peggy announces, "This is your captain speaking," as she begins the pre-flight checks.
Yeah, I would hate this too.
It's midnight. Forrest rolls his eyes and is clearly not interested in having fun at his entertainment job.
He's like, these damn Gen Xers.
Forrest checks the phone lines and tells Peggy he has her on line 1. Peggy insists that, "Hey, this isn't Peggy. This is Captain Donald Key calling. Call me Don. You get it?" Forrest calls it a riot, but refuses to actually address her as Captain Donkey.
Captain Donkey. Oh, yeah, I would hate this.
At midnight.
Yeah.
You're 47. You're tired. You have to wake up at 10 p.m. to do your overnight radio job, and you've got this sweet 20-something like, I'm gonna make a pun.
Honestly, thinking on it, she's not even Gen X. She's a boomer.
28 in the late 80s.
87, yeah.
They wrap up going through the buttons, and Peggy says they're coming in for a landing. She tells Forrest that after his intro, their first segment is Guess That Scream, which is a game that Forrest genuinely thought was a joke when he got hired. Peggy insists that it's very real, and Reggie insists on it for tonight. At 12 a.m. on the dot, Forrest Nash goes live on the airwaves, welcoming the listeners of Gallows Creek to KFAM 189.16, and he begrudgingly introduces the game, Guess That Scream.
It's always exciting when the host doesn't even like their own show.
Peggy tells Forrest on the producer line that, hey, you know what, this is actually one of the station manager's better ideas, which is depressing.
Oh, God. I'd hate to hear all the bad ones.
Forrest explains that the game is he'll play a scream, and the listeners have to call in and guess that scream.
Does it have, like, a pre-recorded audience version of it, or do they actually have to say it every time?
No, they say guess that scream. I'm hamming it up a little, but he's not as excited about guess that scream as I am. So they have to call in and guess why that person is screaming, which is an insane thing to ask of people at midnight.
At midnight especially.
Like, imagine you're driving through town and you're flipping through the radio stations and you just hear screaming.
Just screaming.
Like, we're not listening to that. I guess it's going to be weather for me.
It'll keep you awake, I guess.
Yeah, it's great for truckers. Peggy tells Forrest to play the tape, and Forrest is surprised. In Chicago, he had a tape guy to play tapes for him. Peggy tells him lovingly but firmly that this isn't Chicago. He'll have to play his own tapes. Peggy then realizes that Forrest lost the tape of screams and is immediately disappointed. Forrest admits he lost the tape but tells her that, overall, guess the scream is a terrible idea, so that's fine. And Peggy says, no, just because it's a bad idea doesn't mean it can't be fun. You have to make do and scream yourself. Forrest hates what he has become, but agrees to scream for the midnight listeners.
And a paycheck.
I hit the airwaves with a falling from a cliff scream, which is admittedly not a great scream, but it kind of goes like this. Ah. I'm not going to scream. I'm better than that. Forrest challenges the community to guess that scream to win 2 tickets to a local corn maze, the Amazing Maze Maze.
That's a great play on words.
Forrest recoils into a shell of his former self, miserable with his surroundings and where his life has led him. Peggy is pleased he's finally playing along. Forrest drops the station phone number for people to call in to guess that scream, and then puts on a record while he waits for the calls to come in. The records in the game are real songs on the soundtrack that are all super 80s jammers with, like, mildly ominous names. Like, one is Crying for Help by The Flow, and there's one that's called Stab in the Wind by Knife and the Easy.
Are these real songs from the 80s?
No, they're not songs from the 80s. They're songs that were made for the game, but they're very 80s inspired.
All right, so it's probably, like, streamer friendly at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. There's no licensing. These are owned games.
Because I heard that's the one big problem with that new game mixtape that came out.
Yeah, the licenses are almost immediately expiring.
Yeah, so, like, nobody can stream the game because it's just all those, like, 80s songs and they're real, so they all get demonetized and cut immediately.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
IGN did not factor that in when giving them a 10 out of 10.
No.
So while the song plays and the mics are off air, Peggy praises Forrest for his scream. She tells Forrest, that'll be the highlight of my week. And Forrest asks, What did I get myself into? Peggy patches a call into Forrest and tells him to turn the record off so he can chat with the caller. Forrest asks the caller what's going on tonight, and he's met with the voice of a worried and hurried woman. She's relieved to be on the line with Forrest and introduces herself as Leslie Harper, the 911 operator and police dispatcher for Gallows Creek. Forrest figures that since she's a 911 operator, she probably has some professional insight into the screams. Leslie says, "What? No! I found a body and I need your help."
This is your job.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause. This was an uphill battle for me to buy into.
Right. Why are you calling the radio for this?
I've never lived in a small town. I've only lived in cities with international airports and reliable public transport. I'm an absolute coastal elite that scoffs at cities where restaurants are closed before 10 p.m. The concept of this fucking thing immediately felt like a beast to wrap my arms around.
Yeah, no, I've lived in a two-cop town before, so this might make a little bit more sense now that I'm thinking on it.
Jesus Christ, I don't get it. All right, so Forrest is with me. He's like, "Hey, why is 911 calling me to report a body? What's the punchline of this? I don't get it." He has no faith in this woman. Peggy pops into the private producer line and tells Forrest, No, I recognize Leslie's voice. This is a legit call." Forrest hates this. He reminds Peggy that he explicitly stated in his contract he does not do prank segments. Peggy is like, "Yeah, no, you made a really big deal about it at the staff meeting. This is not a prank."
Sorry, I love this like background lore that he was just like, "I don't fucking do pranks, motherfucker."
Yeah, he threw a fit. And again, this is his last resort. He cut his life into pieces. This is his last resort. He has nowhere to go.
He doesn't get to make rules when his fucking career is falling apart the way it is.
Except for no pranks.
Except for no pranks.
Forrest gets back on with Leslie and tells her to call the sheriff. "Why are you calling the midnight DJ on a local radio station to report a body, ma'am?" Leslie states plainly that she is at the sheriff's office, and Sheriff Matthews is dead.
Oh, he's the body.
She wasn't getting any responses from the department, so she went into the office and found the body. Leslie speaks dryly, holding her calm, despite being feet away from the dead body of her boss. Peggy hops on the live call line and asks what happened. Leslie explains that what happened to the sheriff is genuinely too gruesome to describe, which Peggy and Forrest honor respectfully. She states that there are bullet casings around the body, implying that the sheriff did fight back. Deputy Martinez is also there, but she's knocked unconscious, tied up, and locked in a cell. Forrest very cautiously asks if this hick town only has 2 cops, like the one Tom grew up in, which Leslie shoots down. She says, "We have 3 cops." But Officer Gunderson is on leave in Cancun, Mexico.
The third one's on vacation is so perfect. Not that it's like, it's their time off because, you know, they need at least some.
I mean, he is on time off. He's just, like, by the pool having a Mai Tai right now.
Yeah.
Peggy interrupts Forrest's spiral about how terrible small towns are and tells Leslie that she has to call the Henderson Police Department. It's the next town over and they should have help. At least more than the local fucking radio station would, Leslie. Leslie tells Peggy she tried calling, but the phone lines are fucked. She can't call out anything except local numbers. She explains that she has to drive over to Henderson herself to get help. Peggy hates this idea because there's clearly a murderer on the loose, and she is the closest thing they have to a cop right now, and no one will be manning the emergency lines. And Leslie says, "Exactly. That's why I called. I have forwarded all 911 calls to roll over to the live radio station line."
What the? This is a buy-in.
Forrest explains this is a bad idea because this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, truly, I was like, okay, it's cool. You're a radio station guy. Like, it's a murder mystery. This buy-in felt like climbing a mountain.
I mean, I guess her only logic is you're the only people with experience taking in live calls that's still awake right now.
You're the only ones that are awake right now, I think, is how she narrowed it down. But aren't there firefighters?
And
do small towns have firefighters?
Not always, no.
See, I grew up in a big town. It befuddles me that Walmart's close in some place, you know? Like,
yeah.
Leslie tells Forrest and Peggy, "You're the only people with experience manning a phone line in town." She says, You're the only person equipped for the job. And again, Leslie, I cannot emphasize enough how this does not feel true. She reassures Forrest, saying, it's basically like an interview. You ask questions to get information you can use. Just keep people talking and guide the conversation. Forrest is with me. Forrest is from Chicago, one of the greatest cities in America. And he says this is a bad idea because this is a bad idea.
I'm a radio DJ. This is not in my qualifications.
If your house is on fire, would you call Howard Stern?
No.
If you were in any kind of peril, would you call Howard Stern?
I love that Howard Stern's the only reference you have, though.
I don't know if people will remember Loveline.
Dr. Drew is not going to help you in any other way, except for ask, were you, as a child? Like,
your voice is really squeaky.
Yeah.
Oh, that is for the deep millennials right there. Leslie says, okay, so there's two of you. You can work on this together. Anyway, let's start now. I need to get an unconscious cop out of the holding cell she's locked in. It looks like whoever attacked her threw the keys into the cell after they locked the door. I can't reach the keys. There's no bars, just a small slot for a food tray that's too narrow to reach through. Forrest talks Leslie through finding another set of keys, which unfortunately are probably on the mangled corpse that's actively decomposing in the middle of the station.
Oh my God.
Leslie is disgusted as she roots around Sheriff Matthews' body, but is relieved to find his set of keys. With the keys, Leslie goes into the cell and unties Deputy Martinez and plops her unconscious body into an office chair so she can roll her around. She tells Peggy and Forrest she'll take Deputy Martinez with her to protect her. She can't leave an unconscious woman out here alone while there's a killer on the loose who already had access to the station.
I'm sorry, this 911 operator is awful. Like, she shouldn't be leaving until this cop is awake.
You'd think maybe splash some water on
Something. Try to wake her up. Try to get her up. Not, I'm going to wheel her around, get her into my car, and bring her with me.
Wheel her around is crazy.
You are literally leaving the town completely unguarded.
No. There's a shock jock.
Right.
Forrest understands Leslie's heart. He's like, I get that you want to help, but I am deeply concerned that a DJ from Chicago is now in charge of the entire town's safety while there's an active murderer in the streets. And he's handling this so much more calm than I am or would be. Leslie is encouraging. She tells Forrest and Peggy that they got this. They just got to hold down the fort while she gets help. Leslie gets ready to hang up on them and roll Deputy Martinez's ass out to her car so they can hit the road. She's saying goodbye, but gets cut off as an explosion is heard.
The fuck?
Forrest and Peggy are on the edge, and Leslie screams that her car is on fire. And apparently this small town doesn't have firefighters, to your point.
Not that they can call anyway. She's off duty.
Yeah. I can't call 911 because I am 911.
Right.
Peggy and Forrest ask for clarification because what the fuck, Leslie?
What do you mean your car exploded?
But Leslie gets quiet, and all that's heard on the line is whistling. 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 It's whistling. All they hear is whistling.
Just that's it?
Yeah. Sir, you were staring at me waiting for more. I can't give you more. That's all we got.
Like a song or like the way the Scars do in Last of Us 2? Okay.
This finally breaks Leslie's razor-sharp sensibility, and she's spooked. Leslie says, no, it can't be. Forrest asks what's happening. Am I hearing whistling? Why is there whistling? And Peggy says, whistling? No, it can't be. Leslie tries to untangle this. She says, oh my God, I can see him, but he's dead, right? But the mask. No, it can't be him. The whistling man.
Like, stop doing the pronoun game. You are live on the air. Tell us what's happening, or else we're gonna have to guess what your scream is next.
That's basically what Forrest says. He's like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Can anyone help me, please?
A crumb of context.
He's like, hey, so who's the whistling man? And Leslie explains that the whistling man was a serial killer in the 1950s, and he wore the same mask she's looking at right now. But the whistling man is dead. He died. He's dead. And now he's coming this way.
Oh no, it's son of Whistling Man.
I promise after Act 1, the premise is so much easier to buy into.
Okay, I hope
it's just,
so.
like, this, so as I'm rereading it, it does feel like an uphill battle, so please just stick with me. Forrest tells Leslie to run and lock the doors and take one of the police cruisers. Leslie copies and goes into the deputy's pocket to pull out the keys to one of the cruisers. And then she freezes, unsure how she'll load herself and the unconscious cop into the car.
Yeah, no shit.
So Forrest talks her through grabbing the mangled sheriff's gun to protect herself. Unfortunately, Leslie realizes that all those casings around the body mean the gun is empty.
Oh, shit.
Forrest talks Leslie through the station to find a weapon, and they settle on pulling Deputy Martinez's taser off of her for Leslie to use.
In a police station, this is the best weapon they can find?
Tom, there's no firefighters. There's 3 cops. One is in Cancun having a Mai Tai. One is dead on the floor like the beginning of Saw, but not really. He's actually dead. And one is unconscious, taped to an office chair.
This is a terrible situation this town has found itself in.
This is a terrible town. Leslie's like, all right, I got this. I'm going to drag this bitch out of the station, put her in the cop car. I've got a taser. I'll radio you from the car, I guess. Forrest wishes Leslie luck and hangs up on her. Shortly after, Leslie radios into dispatch, aka the local radio station, to check in. She made it and has Deputy Martinez, who is still out cold. So, also, this woman was knocked out so hard, she was able to be, dragged around, rolled around, thrown into a car, and is like, I am out.
Yeah, if she wakes up, but brain damage is so bad, she will never remember anything anyway.
CTE as far as the eyes can see, which is not far.
Yeah.
Because she's definitely blind after whatever happened. Sometimes with a concussion, you lose vision for a while.
Yeah.
She's not going to be okay. It's quiet, and then there's whistling. Over the line, Leslie screams at the whistling man, who is attacking her car now and trying to pull Deputy Martinez out of the car. Leslie tells him to let go of her, and the crackling sound of the taser stops the whistling.
Ooh.
Forrest commands Leslie to drive, and she peels off. Leslie catches her breath and tells Forrest and Peggy the next town over, Henderson, is about 2 or 3 hours each way.
So I take it she's got a cell phone.
She's doing the radio from the car.
From the car, okay.
Yeah, the cop car at least had some sort of patching in. Now, this game does take place in the 80s. We're going to fudge it and pretend that there's at least cordless phones for most of this. There are a couple scenes where I was like, that's not how phones worked in the 80s.
As people my age would call a Zach Morris phone.
People my age don't, because I don't know what that means.
That big-ass, manila-looking one with a huge antenna coming out the top of it.
Night at the Roxbury?
Okay, yeah, they had one too.
I did not watch Saving the Bell.
Saved by the Bell?
Saving Private Bell? I didn't see that
No.
one. So it's going to be a really long night for Leslie and for Forrest and Peggy. She's going to be gone for 5 to 6 hours. But at least Leslie and Deputy Martinez are safe. They're on the road. And Deputy Martinez is kind of stirring a little bit. She says she's starting to wake up. She's not going to be happy when she wakes up. So
No.
Could you imagine being at work, getting knocked out, waking up in so much pain, in a cop car just driving in the night with one of your coworkers?
Right. Oh, no thank you.
No thank you. Forrest is horrified at how isolated this stupid fucking town is, but tells Leslie to be safe and get help. Leslie reassures Forrest and Peggy that they're doing great and to keep it up while she's gone. After the call, Forrest addresses the town, telling them, "Hello, Gallows Creek. It's your boy, Forrest. We've got a killer on the loose. Please be safe."
Could you imagine being a trucker passing through this area that gets the reception for this specific radio station? Just being like, this is an incredible radio play.
Well, was it War of the Worlds that started as a radio play and people thought it was real and they thought aliens were genuinely coming down? But this is real.
Yeah.
Forrest tells everyone to, meanwhile, let's get back to the show, which is insane. He says, if you have anything on your mind or have any clues about the murderer, please call in. Either of those two options, call me.
He is a consummate professional at the end of the day.
He has to be. Forrest puts a record on, and as soon as his microphone isn't live, he and Peggy catch up, freaking the fuck out about what's going on. Forrest figures if Leslie takes about 4 hours, half the fucking town is going to get carved up. Peggy tells Forrest that he's not helping the situation thinking like this, but he's a realist. Fuck you, Peggy. Forrest asks Peggy who the whistling man is, because clearly there's some lore here, and we need it to round out Act 1. Peggy explains that in the 1950s, there's a serial killer named Edward Marshall Mooney. He terrorized Gallows Creek and would wear a mask and whistle before he'd kill his victims. He managed to kill about a dozen people for no real reason. Just killed people for the love of the game. The cops eventually managed to track him down and chased him up to a cliff where they cornered him. He jumped from the point, now called Whistling Point, down into a river below, and his body was never found.
Uh-oh.
That night he jumped was on this night, September 3rd! Why did I say that like I'm announcing the SNL's musical guest? Musical guest, September 3rd! Peggy says that since they never recovered his body, the urban legend is that the Whistling Man has been lying in wait, ready to come back and terrorize the town once more. Forrest calls bullshit.
Yeah.
And asks what this shit has to do with tonight. Peggy reminds him that there is someone whistling and killing people in town. So, honestly, Forrest, core concept. That's what it has to do with tonight. Forrest admits that that's valid because, okay, I see you, and that they can at least get the word out to help protect the townsfolk. He asks Peggy what their listenership is going to be like tonight. Peggy says, okay, like 35? And Forrest says, oh, 3,500. Okay, that's not bad. We can protect a lot of people.
No, she means 35 people.
Peggy does clarify. Literally 35 people. You know, you're playing in first person as Forrest, but I could feel his eyes roll. He fucking hates this small town bullshit, and he's going to walk into an ocean as soon as he gets out of this landlocked state. Peggy reminds him that it's also school night, and the population of the town is only a little over 1,000 residents.
Oh my god, that's that's honestly smaller than the two-cop town that I was talking about earlier.
I think that's smaller than my high school.
Yeah.
Like, my graduating class was a couple hundred people. There's a small baby boom after a very specific earthquake I am named after. So my high school graduating class was pretty big, but still, I can't imagine living in a town with 1,000 people.
That's insane. Everybody knows your business.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Forrest tells her that he used to average 5 million listeners, but it would swell to 10 or 15 million with the right guests. Peggy cannot comprehend the concept of that many people. Just period. Like, she can't imagine that big of a number.
It's funny because he can't comprehend that small of a number.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm so with Forrest on, like, small town what the fuck isms, but it's reflected in Peggy of being like, what do you mean 5 million people?
Why are you even bothering to have a radio DJ this late at night for 35 people? Never mind.
How bad did you fuck up in Chicago?
Yeah.
They are interrupted when a call comes in from a townsperson breathing heavily into the receiver. Forrest asks who this is and why they're calling in, kind of low-key assuming this is probably a pervert. The pervert's deep breaths make way for whistling, and he says, "You know my name." He breathes deep again and says, "I'm come back from the dead to kill again. No one is safe." Forrest, ever the professional, asks the whistling man, "Do you take requests? I have a list of names for you." The whistling man tells Forrest, "Maybe."
He wasn't ready for this line of questioning at all.
"You'd have to make a sacrifice, though. We want cheese-dusted pretzels, or I'll cut your face off." Peggy just hangs up on these people. Forrest takes this opportunity to say he's not actually getting cheese-dusted pretzels for these kids, and no one should be out tonight. Stay inside and stay safe. Lock your fucking doors. He doesn't say fuck. He says freaking.
Right. He's on the radio.
Yeah. He learned his lesson from whatever he did in Chicago. He puts on a record and tells Peggy, "Hey, this is super fucked up that people are calling in pranks while there's an active killer on the loose." Peggy kind of explains, well, it's kind of a thing out here. Kids will prank call each other and pretend to be the whistling man or, like, prank each other in person. But she emphasizes that Leslie's call was for sure real. Like, Leslie's an adult and wouldn't prank us about that. Then Peggy tries to get Forrest's energy up and reminds him that they have a show to put on, and another call comes on the hotline. Forrest stops the track and takes the call and opens by saying that the caller is live on the Scream with Forrest Nash. The woman on the other end of the phone is bewildered. She says, "What? No! I called 911. I need the sheriff. Not a late night DJ. What the fuck?"
I was wondering if they had any way of distinguishing which calls were going to be for the radio station and which ones were going to be for 911.
Leslie did not think that far ahead. She just rerouted the whole fucking phone line. Forrest is a little apologetic and explained to her that he is 911 tonight and asked for her name and what's going on. This furious, bewildered woman is Sandra Sharp, and she needs the fucking cops. Forrest gently tells her that the sheriff was brutally murdered, and the only police presence they have tonight is currently driving to the town 2 hours over for help, so a late-night DJ is all she has to work with. Sandra is reasonably upset, but explains that she drove to the edge of town for a jazz run, which is a real thing.
The fuck's a jazz run?
It was the 80s! We were doing jazz runs! And now, someone dressed as the Whistling Man is chasing her with a knife. She ran to her car, but she lost her keys on her jazz run. I'm truly no idea what a jazz run is. Cannot explain that to you. The car is unlocked, but she can't turn it on without the keys. There's a faint whistling sound in the background of Sandra's call. Sandra talks in a hurried tone and tells Forrest she has a toolkit in the car and she needs help starting the car without her keys. She hangs up to get her tools and hide, and she says she'll call back. Forrest is in over his head on this one. He does what he does best, and he dedicates the next song to Sandra.
Oh my god.
What else can you do? All he knows is, like, the Smashing Pumpkins and fucking DJ. Were the Smashing Pumpkins around in the 80s? Okay. I just discovered the Smashing Pumpkins, everyone. They're a very good band.
They're fantastic, and it's insane to me that you only just discovered them.
People should know about them.
Yes, they do.
Peggy tells Forrest there's a car show at the station, and she sends him to check out their office to see if he can find anything to help Sandra. Forrest checks out the cubicles in the main office and finds a magazine that explains exactly how to start a car without keys, which is very helpful for our current situation.
Thank God that's at the radio station.
Now, just to kind of take a step back and talk about how this works, so, like, you'll get these kind of prompts. Forrest can leave the room, and then he can search for things, and sometimes clues make sense, sometimes they don't. When you're talking to people, you can talk them through different things, so she'll call in and be like, help, I need 911, and Forrest can be like, I am the cops, or be like, hey, babe, the cops are all dead.
Yeah.
But Golden Path want to keep it streamlined. Now, Peggy is pleasantly surprised that Forrest found a magazine with the exact instructions of how to start a car with no keys, so she's like, fucking let's do this.
Basically how to hotwire a car?
Exactly.
Okay.
Sandra calls back, and Forrest walks her through hotwiring a car, complete with stripping and twisting wires. And within this gameplay, you get 3 options to choose from. Which wires to cut, what wires to strip, those kind of options. Picking any of the wrong ones fucks up the play and can get Sandra killed.
Oh my god.
So you have to be very careful and reference the exact notes in the magazine that Forrest found. It's something like strip the purple wire, tie the red one to the blue one type shit. After the correct sequence of wires, the car kicks to life and Sandra quietly celebrates and invites Forrest to her jazz studio anytime he wants.
For a jazz run.
For a quick jazz run. Feels like a euphemism.
Yeah.
Sandra drives off and away from the Whistling Man, and we have completed the first puzzle of the game. A lot of the puzzles were tested in focus groups without the game. The team would do a table read of the scene, and playtesters had to think about what they heard and work out the puzzle, much like a D&D campaign.
Oh, nice.
They did eventually do playtests with the actual engine game, but a lot were worked out verbally. So for instance, for this, they'd probably give the test player the magazine with instructions, then read out the dialogue and the action options, and let the player identify the correct sequence to hotwire the car. Peggy is thrilled that Forrest saved Sandra's life. Forrest is pleased too, and spins a record to celebrate.
Dedicated to Sandra again.
He's kind of got the one move.
Yeah.
Peggy hopes that the killer is done for tonight, but we know we're not that far into the game, so sorry, Peggy. You're fucked. It's 12:42 a.m., and Peggy announces a new caller on line 1. Forrest preps himself for some horrific shit, and is greeted by the aggressively Scottish Brian Ponty of Ponty's Pizza, Brian Ponty. He's very happy to hear that Deputy Martinez survived the attack at the police station. He says that he sees her eat a lot at Ponty's Pizza.
Oh my god, he's turning this into an ad?
He 100% is taking advantage of the situation to promote Ponty's Pizza.
Capitalism, everybody!
He thanks Forrest for his help in the town and says he's going to be sending over coupons for Ponty's Pizza. Forrest thanks him And Brian starts talking about how fantastic Ponte's Pizza is, and essentially just starts doing a free ad for his shop.
Oh my god.
Brian Ponte, not able to read a room, says, "My pizza is to die for."
Jesus Christ, no he didn't.
He does admit it's in poor taste to say, but is also like, I hope it doesn't deter you from coming on down to Ponte's Pizza.
Yeah, I guess we're never going to forget Ponte's Pizza after this.
Forrest makes Peggy hang up on him. The next call is a gruff man demanding to speak to Leslie and is very unhappy about speaking to Forrest. This man is Maurice. He's the lead editor of the Gallows Creek Reporter. He's working late at night and someone broke into the office. Maurice says it's some idiot kid dressed as the Whistling Man. Forrest sternly tells Maurice that the Whistling Man is back, and Maurice tells Forrest not to be an ass. I like Maurice. Maurice catches up, finding out the sheriff is dead, but insisting that Edward Marshall Mooney, the original Whistling Man, is indeed dead. He knows that for a fact, so whoever is in the building is a copycat. But regardless of all that, this man is clearly dangerous, so get your shit together, Maurice. Maurice is in an office where he can see the security cameras, and he's not sure how he's going to be able to get out of the building. The Whistling Man is knocking over cabinets, making it hard to get through the halls quietly, so Maurice is stuck. Peggy has a flash of genius, and she says, "Wait, there's phones in all the offices, right? Why don't we call the killer on the extension of the room he's in? Lure him through the offices so Maurice can get out."
Honestly, a weird but good idea.
She's a townie, but she is a genius.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. And Maurice does like this plan, so he faxes a map of his office, complete with extensions, to the radio station, and Forrest comes and grabs that.
He's had plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, he's like, I can use the fax machine right now. Maurice and Forrest work together, with Peggy calling office extensions to lure the Whistling Man through the area. The team manages to get the Whistling Man locked in an office, giving Maurice enough time to get free and break out of the offices unscathed. Maurice heads off to meet up with some friends. He is spooked after the break-in and wants some company while he waits for the cops to come back and collect the killer. With Maurice safe, Forrest spins a record, and he and Peggy kick back, pleased with the fact that they kept their town safe.
Just the fact that they keep playing music is just hilarious.
That they keep doing needle drops. They're like, man, I'm really glad you evaded this killer. Here's this bop about getting a blowjob by the off. You know, like, that's crazy.
Now take on me from Aha.
Yeah, like, if they start playing Rock Lobster, is that
Right.
in poor taste? Like, what are we doing? During the song, Peggy pokes Forrest about his past. She says she's worked with him for a week, but she barely knows anything about him.
You shouldn't after a week.
Right.
I mean, granted, in this small town, they know everything about everyone.
Yeah.
So that is weird to not know somebody for them, but no, you shouldn't know You shouldn't know anything about somebody after a week of working with them.
I hope no one knows anything about me at work, regardless of how long I work there.
You're like, after 4 years, you still shouldn't know anything about me.
I'm an enigma, and my HR folder is sealed. They talk about families, and Forrest says he's an only child and his parents have passed. Peggy says her parents have also passed, and she had a sister, but she hasn't seen her sister since before her dad passed when she was a kid, so she's kind of on her own too. Peggy gets startled when the building's door buzzer goes off. She can't leave her post, so she tells Forrest to go downstairs to see what it is. Forrest goes downstairs and finds a cassette tape slipped under the door. Cassettes are a very dated technology where sound was recorded in small film. No one understands how they work, and I will not elaborate. The cassette says, "Play me on the air." Forrest is like, all right, sounds good. And he plays the cassette, which is horrifying.
Dude, that is not the correct way. No, you have to preview that shit at the very least.
Horror movies were in a much more infantile state in the 80s. He was not aware that this was like a calling card to the killer. He's like, I got a present.
Yeah, but they'd already gone through like the whole Zodiac killer situation, who was like,
That's true.
Publish this in the newspaper immediately.
And you know what? They did. So he's taking his cues from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Yeah, and a lot of people still died from the Zodiac killer.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. This is bad. Someone, whoever gave him the cassette, has clipped Forrest and Peggy's voices from tonight's broadcast and stitched together the following message. Hello, Gallows Creek. Time to pay the price. Time to pay for lies. Time to suffer. I will punish you all. I'm going to enjoy this.
Ooh.
It's so creepy that it's stitched from their voices.
And, like, you can imagine he was just sitting there by the radio, like, hitting record, and then he has to, like, take that over to another, like, double stereo where he could do the same thing to craft everything. Like, the technology back then to do this was very poor.
They did not have CapCut.
No.
After the message, Forrest says, "I did not enjoy that." Now...
Why would you?
Forrest, babe. After that serial killer ass shit, Peggy tells him to take a call. Sure, Peg. As Forrest introduces the caller, he's cut off again by Maurice. Maurice is frantic, screaming that the whistling man is gone. He's escaped. Maurice cleared the hallway of the turned over cabinets, everything he did to keep the whistling man in, and he left. He grabbed some buddies, and he came back to keep watch until Leslie and Deputy Martinez get back to town. He says he and his friends had some beers, they went over to the office and decided they'd take advantage of the lack of police, and they'd go beat the shit out of the whistling man themselves.
Oh, God, these good old boys.
Yeah, because they're like, we've got him fucking locked up. Let's go beat the shit out of him.
There's no cops to pull us over since we're all so fucking hammered.
What are you gonna fucking do about it?
Yeah.
So the boys roll up, ready to open the door to the office, and the whistling man was, like, locked in. They're like, cool, we'll jump in. This is great. They go in, they open the door. He's fucking gone.
God, the number of times these kinds of guys have fantasized about doing this anyway.
Oh, my God.
Like, ugh.
Kind of guys that, like, sit in the corner of the restaurant so they can see all the entrances and exits.
Right.
Because they're like, they fantasize about violence.
You never know when shit's gonna go down.
Okay, baby.
Right.
Peggy goes, well, he is back from the dead. And Forrest immediately hates this theory and is like, please don't say the man that killed all those people is a ghost. You're being ridiculous. Maurice mutters about Mooney and then loudly declares, you know what? I want nothing to do with this. I'm leaving town. Everyone should do what I do and get out of Dodge. And then he hangs up. Maurice is hilarious.
No, that's great.
Peggy understands. She's like, well, you know what? He was attacked by a serial killer who's also like a ghost. So I get why he's leaving. Forrest sighs heavily with the weight of major city arrogance and tells Peggy that the whistling man is not a ghost.
He's not a fucking ghost. Ghosts aren't real, you guys.
And Peggy admits that he might be right, but she still kind of thinks it might be a ghost.
But what if he's a ghost?
It might be a ghost. The night rolls on a bit with songs and some non-urgent calls. Peggy passes along a message to Forrest from the record label saying that they're mad they haven't played a new single that they were supposed to be promoting. And Forrest is like, cool, now this is my problem.
This is not the fucking time. Shouldn't be playing any music whatsoever.
It's like 1 a.m. Who gives a shit? Unfortunately, they can't find the record they were supposed to be promoting, so Forrest has to go on a mission and find the record somewhere in the station. It's downstairs at reception, so Forrest picks it up and comes back to put it on the airwaves. I will say here, the downstairs carpeting is the exact carpeting from The Shining. Which
Oh, nice.
I like that.
You said there's a lot of homages to horror in this.
Yeah. After spinning the coveted record, Peggy patches in a call from a caller named Murphy. Murphy wants to wish his son Fernando a happy birthday and issue a challenge to the Whistling Man. He taunts the Whistling Man, saying, "Oh, you think you're tough with that big knife? Prove it."
Oh my god, don't call out the fucking killer.
Murphy tells the Whistling Man to roll up to the waste disposal plant so we can measure each other's dicks. Or something. I don't know. When I hear men yelling at each other, it just kind of sounds like bah, 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 bah.
Kind of guy that's working third shift at the waste disposal plant, so.
Yeah. Probably should have been the 911 guy, honestly. He's like ready for a fight.
This town is just full of guys ready for a fucking fight.
There's nothing else to do.
No wonder the Whistling Man came from this town.
Forrest asks if Murphy's gonna kick the serial killer's ass, and Murphy says, "You're goddamn right I will." I feel like the accent is getting worse as I go on. I'm so sorry. Murphy's been watching karate videos on tape.
Oh, God.
He's a real tough townie. And then he barks a few times and then hangs up. Forrest asks the listeners to keep their fingers crossed for Murphy. I guess.
Right.
The next call isn't nearly as combative. In fact, she's quite scared. This caller is Dr. Virginia Sullivan, and she says she got a call from the Whistling Man, and he's after her. She's terrified and all her neighbors are gone, except for a frat house down the street that's having a party.
There's a frat house in this tiny town. Okay.
I also cannot emphasize enough that Peggy told us it's a school night.
Yeah, but it's a frat house?
You're like, is there a university here?
Granted, they might just call that any house with like more than 3 men living in it.
Just a stabbing cabin.
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't. Why did you have to say that? That's what my fucking roommates used to call our house.
Ew!
I hated it.
What is wrong with you?
It wasn't me. It was my roommates. They called it that. And there was 3 of us that lived there.
It was a frat house.
Basically.
Now, this woman's about to be murdered. Let me do a really hard tone shift. So she's seen some people and takeout being delivered all night to the stabbing cabin. But other than that, no one else is home on her block. Peggy figures if they can order takeout to the frat, they can send a message to them to go to Virginia's house and protect her so she's not alone. Because no one feels safer than being surrounded by a bunch of drunk men.
They all think it's safe.
Ugh. Virginia doesn't know the name of the frat because they haven't exchanged pleasantries, and doesn't want to dox herself on the radio, so she just panics and hangs up. Now, it's up to Peggy and Forrest to figure out the frat and get takeout to them so they can go to her house. Thankfully, or I guess my nightmare, there's only 3 places in town that do delivery. So the frat must have ordered from either the barbecue place, which is called Grilling Spree.
Damn, I love that this town, first off, it's called Gallows.
Yeah.
Everything about it is murder central.
They're like, that's our whole personality.
All of these places sound like they should be in Hell, Michigan.
Yeah, right? The other place is Chalupa Cabras, which is just fun. Or, you guessed it, Ponte's Pizza.
Oh, Jesus, that's right. But the fact, I'm going to give them credit here, any of these places still open at this hour. Pretty impressive.
Honestly, for a school night after midnight, all right.
In a small fucking town.
Now, Peggy somehow doesn't have their phone numbers, and Forrest hates this fucking town more than a Star Wars fan hates Star Wars.
That's so true.
So Forrest goes to the offices to go looting around for takeout menus so he can call back. He finds a pizza box for Ponte's Pizza and figures, well, damn, the frat boys probably did get a pizza. Forrest begrudgingly calls Ponte's Pizza and pretends to be a drunk frat boy, demanding garlic bread be delivered at the same place as before. Brian Ponte is very happy to take this order and tells him that the bread will be over right away. Before ending the call, Forrest asks to put a note on the delivery to have the boys call K-Fam, the radio station. Now Brian Ponte says, "Oh, K-Fam loves Ponte's Pizza. I should give them a call and tell them." But then Forrest hangs up and says, "I fucking hate you."
He's like, "Do not take any more fucking calls from Ponte's Pizza, Peggy. Please."
Por favor. Forrest throws on a song because, again, it's all he has. But he does dedicate this one to delivery workers while they wait for the plan to go through.
There's a lot of people working third shift in this town, I gotta admit.
For a town of 1,000, a lot of them are awake right now.
Yeah.
After a while, they get a call from a very drunk frat man who calls himself Frat Man Plunker.
Plunker. Oh my goodness.
Do frat people have nicknames?
Yes, they do.
Okay, I don't partake.
Yeah, like Beast Whore.
What?
I don't know. That was one from Undeclared, I remember.
Oh my god. I thought they were all named Kyle. Frat Man Plunker says he got some garlic bread and a note to call this number. He's giggling and there's a lot of voices in the background. After some very kind of conniving convincing, Forrest tells Frat Man Plunker to go to Dr. Virginia's house. All Frat Man Plunker hears is to move the party down the street.
Oh no.
He hangs up as he goes to rally his brothers. Dr. Virginia calls back and there's whistling behind her. She says the whistling man is breaking into her house. She's crying on the phone. She's terrified. She's reaching out with her last breath to anyone who will hear. She says out loud, "It's you, isn't it? Clive, I didn't talk, I promise." Just then, the whistling cuts out, and we hear Frat Man Plunker screaming that the party has arrived.
Oh my god.
The sudden influx of young, drunk men scares the whistling man.
Nice.
And he runs off.
That was a good plan.
Virginia is the only woman to be relieved to have a bunch of frat men run into her home screaming. She says, "Oh, good, I could use a drink." And she thanks Forrest and hangs up, ready to rage with a bunch of young boys.
She ends up having a great night.
Yeah. They become best friends. She becomes the frat mom. After they're off the call, Peggy asks if Forrest heard Virginia say something about a guy named Clive. There's a janitor at the station named Clive, but Peggy doesn't know what that means. She thinks it's super weird.
Honestly, it's kind of a problem that they made it such a small town.
Yeah.
Because a Clive isn't a common name in any era.
Make it an 8,000 person town.
Yeah, a little bit larger just because you would know all the Clives in town.
Right. I don't think there's a Clive in my life.
Right. I think of Clive Owen is the only one I've ever even heard of.
Oh, how good is Sin City?
Yeah. But like, has he acted since Sin City? No.
Couldn't tell me. Yeah. They get a call from a concerned small business owner who says, it's a wild time to be in Gallows Creek. Especially because I'm Brian Ponte from Ponte's
Jesus
Pizza.
Christ, we're not supposed to be taking calls from him anymore, Peggy.
And we're running a special promotion. Forrest hangs up.
Just immediately.
Just click that shit. He fucking hates Brian Ponte.
He loves the idea of adding notes to deliveries, and he's like, I've got to shout this out.
Yeah, he's like, you can say happy birthday on a pizza. Come on, guys. And Peggy does defend him. She's like, he did help us save Virginia's life. And Forrest could not give two shits. He's like, I hope he fucking dies next. Anyway, there's another caller on the line anyway. A younger man named Eugene Stein, who says he's got a heart full of love. Eugene Stein says he's hanging out at the Maze, waiting for a special girl named Molly, who he was planning on losing his virginity to.
Oh my god, shouldn't be planning that.
He says this on the radio.
Yeah.
Did you tell the radio when you lost your virginity?
No. And if any of you ever did, I'm so sorry for you.
I don't think I told all my friends.
Yeah.
That's my business. I'm, again, egregiously private as a person.
Yeah.
Definitely not like, let me call into the local late night radio station to be like, I'm going to be deflowered.
Oh, God, yeah.
Now, the only problem with his V card being punched is that Molly is about an hour late. Eugene Stein doesn't know what to do, but he's heard Forrest handle himself well under pressure, so he figures he'd ask Forrest what to do about being stood up to have sex for the first time.
Suddenly this did turn into Loveline.
No! Jenna Jameson would have eaten on giving this kid fucking advice. Oh, regrettably, yeah. Peggy immediately is like, hey, bud, there's a serial killer on the loose. It's 1 a.m. and you're isolated in a cornfield. Go home to your parents. Eugene Stein says that his parents are dead, which is a huge bummer.
Oh my god.
Probably why he's acting out sexually.
Probably why you're a virgin. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. Why are you fucking GLaDOS? Are you making fun of the orphan right now? You gonna tell me he's fat next? Jesus. Eugene Stein then perks up, saying he hears some rustling. He yells for Molly, saying that, hey, Moll, I'm in the middle of the maze. But then he stops because he hears whistling.
Oh, yeah, no shit. I mean, it's kind of funny, though. Like, she's late because he's making her go through a goddamn maze to find him first.
Is that not what everyone does in the Blizzard? Don't you have to solve the puzzles 3 before you can go down on me? Like,
right.
How does the troll sing? We should implement that. If you're out here, your card's not stamped yet, come up with a couple puzzles before you consummate.
Right.
Why not? Eugene Stein, again, is alone in the middle of a corn maze and just loudly announced his location to the local serial killer. Now, to metagame, he is a virgin, so I cannot legally allow him to die.
Right.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie game.
Exactly how Randy said it.
For instance, number 1, you can never have sex.
Right.
Just like Randy said it. Forrest tells Eugene Stein to hide, and they'll help get him out of there. Eugene hangs up. Again, where is the phone? This is one of these suspend your disbelief and pretend that there was a phone line in the middle of the maze.
There's a payphone in the middle of the maze.
A payphone, yeah. Again, it's a public, quarter one. Forrest and Peggy think about how to get him out of a corn maze safely at 1 a.m. with a huge boner. I also imagine that, he had a blanket and, candles out. He's like, when you're a kid, you're like, what's the most romantic thing I can do? Have sex on a bunch of corn. The pointiest fucking vegetable.
Is that an ear of corn in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
It's an ear of corn. I'm terrified of sex.
Yep.
Peggy says that the receptionist at work is obsessed with the maze, and maybe she may have something about it at her desk? Why would you be obsessed with... Whatever, girl.
She happens to have the outline of the maze, so she's gonna... Oh my god, are you actually gonna help him get out of the maze that way?
Forrest goes to her deck and she has an outline of the maze.
I'm sorry for jumping the gun on exactly what happens.
You know
I did not play this game, to be clear. I know nothing. I'd never heard of this game until we picked it for this episode. Didn't play it.
God damn it, Tom.
Oh, somebody needs to hire me.
So Forrest goes back to his desk with a full map of the maze. Because as Tom called out, obviously that's what happened. This is a very complex maze, and sweet baby virgin Eugene Stein never stood a chance. With the map in hand and Eugene Stein back on the line, walking through the maze somehow, Forrest talks Eugene through escaping the maze. He's like, all right, do you see the fucking pole? Take a left. All right, you should be at a fork. Go north. Things that wouldn't work if you had a phone.
And the killer is just going to follow the giant extension cable that is going through the whole maze.
The coil.
The coil.
It's not even a straight one. It's the coil.
It's a half-mile long one.
Yeah. Eugene Stein sobs that he just wanted some love as he dashes through the maze with the serial killer hot on his trail, following the fucking coil.
Honestly, this is kind of par for the course for most people on the first time they think they're going to lose their virginity, so...
What the fuck happened to you when you lost your virginity?
No, it's not the time that you did lose your virginity. It's when you plan it and you think it's going to happen and it just doesn't fucking happen.
Oh, not for me. What a lovely time. It was
the man experience of that.
Oh, I was like, I had a caring experience. That was lovely. The fuck is wrong with everyone? Forrest listens closely to Eugene, who describes what he sees. Sometimes there's statues and scarecrows, and they use those landmarks to lead each other through the maze with the map. Eugene Stein makes it out and finds his bicycle, and is relieved to know he can ride away.
He rode a bicycle. I'm sorry.
He's a virgin, Tom!
It's 1 a.m. in the middle of fucking nowhere.
He doesn't have parents to say, hey, kid, you can take the car.
That's fair. So he could take the car.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, there's nobody to stop him from taking the car either.
Tom, he was blinded by boners.
Oh, wow. Eugene, you are fucking lucky to live through this.
But also, if you're planning on being intimate with someone, maybe don't have bike crotch.
No.
I assume there's going to be some sweating.
Yeah.
And sweating creates bacteria.
Oh, God. Honestly, we saved Mary Beth or whoever the fuck it was that was supposed to show up from anything.
Yeah. Molly is dead somewhere else.
Molly, yeah, that was her name.
They very distinctly do not have eyes on Molly. Lord knows where she is, but...
Yeah, she just didn't show up because it was 1 a.m. in a corn maze.
She just slept through it. She's like, I don't really want to deflower this boy.
Not at all.
Wait, tell me the date. Hey, Molly, it's me, Eugene. I'd love to have sex with you for the first time.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Can you meet me at 1 a.m. in the middle of the corn maze?
Totally.
Can you pick me up, though?
No, let's just meet there.
Okay, so I'll ride my bicycle.
Uh-huh.
Through the middle of the town.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. And meet you in the middle of the corn maze.
Yeah, me too. I'll totally be there.
And you'll have sex with me if I go?
Yes. Yeah, this is a prank.
This is gonna be the best day of my life.
This is why Forrest doesn't do pranks. Shit like this happens.
This is a nightmare. Forrest and Peggy are relieved and, I think personally, mortified for whatever the fuck Eugene just
We're
wanted.
relieved for Molly.
Yeah. We're Team Molly on this podcast. If you fuck this up, though, Eugene just dies in the corn maze. Think about that end of it. What a nightmare.
Oh my god, this game's insane. You said it was going to be easier to buy in the rest of the game. I'm having a harder time.
I forgot about this one. I'm so sorry. It takes a lot of buy-in.
It really does.
It's now 1:49 a.m. Eugene Stein is still a virgin. And Forrest takes a call from a breathy woman named Dawn. She's asking Forrest to play a specific song for her. A song called Long Ride Home. Forrest is like, sure, I love being a DJ. That's so much better than being a 911 operator and saving virgins.
My actual job. Oh, God. Until Dawn called, I was doing other things.
Until Dawn.
You hear what I did there?
So Forrest goes to look for the record, but Peggy stops him saying, hey, you're not going to find it because I actually threw that record out the window earlier today.
What the flying? The one thing somebody actually asked for.
Peggy tells him that her coworker Brad kept playing the song on repeat, knowing she hates it. So she did the normal balance thing and threw the record out the window.
So you gotta go find it.
Well, Forrest is like, oh, shut the fuck up. Okay, hey, Dawn, can we put on a different song?
Any other song?
Because that record got thrown out the window.
God, somebody actually asking you to do the thing you're paid to do, and you can't even do that, Forrest.
Because your producer is a fucking maniac. So he throws on a different song. He's like, well, this one's for you, Dawn. I'm really sorry. My coworker destroyed the record. Then there's a new caller, and Forrest greets him, and the caller sounds like he's running. Through panting breaths, the man explains that it's Murphy again, the guy who challenged the Whistling Man to square up.
Uh-oh, he came to square up, didn't he?
Yeah, the Whistling Man 100% came to square up and went to the waste disposal plant where Murphy said he'd be, and he found Murphy. The Whistling Man beat the shit out of Murphy and then locked him in a dumpster, which is deeply funny.
This is usually what happens to the kind of people that are like, square up, motherfucker, and then they get their ass beat.
And then they call crying for help, being like, I fucked up. Now, unfortunately, Murphy smells smoke. It seemed like the Whistling Man locked Murphy in a dumpster and then started a fire.
Oh my God, he's gonna smoke him out, literally.
Murphy is frantic, screaming that he's about to die. We talked about this earlier. Peggy calls the fire department, but they can't help because someone slashed the tires on the fire truck.
No way.
Which, I forgot about this part, but yeah, they do have a fire department. They're just fucking useless right now. The Whistling Man really thought ahead on this. Peggy knows some people who don't live too far from the waste disposal plant, so she sends a friend over to help. Her friend calls from the road from, I guess, her car phone, and sees that the whole plant is up in smoke, which must smell fucking terrible.
Did reception get invented in this town? Because how the fuck do all these people have cellular reception? Like, I could imagine today it not having cellular reception.
Oh, I don't get reception at the link on
Yeah.
the strip. Like, if I'm in the back part of the link that doesn't face the street, my phone doesn't work. My phone doesn't work at the Luxor. My phone doesn't work at, like, the back part of the Strat near the parking lot. Like, my phone doesn't work in any parking lot on the strip.
This town has perfect reception all the time in the 80s?
In the 80s, mobily, where Eugene Stein could be running through a corn maze, screaming about virginity, and it's fine. So Forrest and Peggy have Peggy's friend and Murphy on the line simultaneously. Also, Murphy has a phone while he's locked in the dumpster. We're going to ignore that. And they all work together to find the dumpster Murphy is locked in. They get Murphy out of the dumpster and out of the burning building, off to safety. Relieved, Forrest and Peggy wish them well and get back to the show. The next caller is Teddy Gallows Jr., a man running for mayor of Gallows Creek.
Fucking Nepo, baby.
Immediately. He's called in to wish thoughts and prayers and promote funding.
Like a true politician.
Yeah. Sorry about the deaths, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And he says, I promise to fund the cops more to keep this town safe.
Oh my God.
He's gonna have to fund a couple funerals first.
God.
Forrest sees through the smoke and mirrors and sees that Teddy Gallows Jr. is just calling for free airtime to his dozens of listeners.
Well, he learned from the fucking pizza place.
Yeah. Peggy quietly calls Teddy Gallows Jr. a jackass. Teddy Gallows Jr. is typical old money. He was a football star in high school at Gallows Creek High, and his daddy owns most of the buildings in town. And he's proud to say he employs around 200 of the town's 1,000-person population. He's that bitch and he knows it. Peggy fucking hates him. She eventually just cuts him off on air and calls him a lowlife and says, this is not the time to promote your damn campaign.
Oh, he totally hit on her back in high school and was just like a total creep.
Yeah. Teddy Gallows Jr. takes this opportunity to shit-talk the current mayor, Linda Cartwright. He says, look, she just isn't one of us.
Oh, what does that fucking mean? Oh, God, I don't even want to know.
He calls her un-American and unstable. Peggy interrupts him and tells him, you're not better than anyone just because you inherited half the town. Teddy interrupts Peggy, telling Forrest, your producer is unstable too.
This fucking guy.
Immediately, like, they wrote, he's like 4 lines in, and you hate everything about this person. Like, what a great performance and what a great character.
Yeah.
Peggy says, oh, don't you dare speak to me that way. And Forrest tells Peggy to cut him off. Peggy hangs up on Teddy while he promises that this kind of thing will not happen when I'm in office. Which, do you think the mayor is like stoked to see virgins getting slaughtered in a corn maze? Shut the fuck up.
At this point, he's the whistling man as far as I'm concerned.
There you go.
Yep.
Forrest tells the listeners, all right, so that's enough of Teddy Gallows Jr. for one lifetime.
Lifetime, hell yeah.
Peggy says, ugh, I always feel disgusted after hearing him talk. And she needs to give herself a minute to calm down after hearing him, but they do get another call in, so she has to get her shit together. This time, it's a young woman who sounds terrified. She says she and her friends are in trouble. There's a guy hunting her and her group of friends, and she's scared some of them are already dead. The man is just outside, and he's coming for them. Her name is Carrie. Which,
nice, okay.
Pretty clear. And she is scared shitless.
She about to be covered in blood.
Oh, no! She says she's in the old murder house with her friends. And I think that's your first issue, babe.
You're in the murder house?
Don't be in the old murder house.
And also, all 35 people that listen to this program at night are listening right now and calling in.
And they are fucking seated. They're like, this is the best version of the midnight show ever. I usually listen to this to fall asleep. I am locked the fuck in. Everyone in town is calling out tomorrow because they've all stayed up and need to, like, have a kiki about what happened last night.
If they survive the night.
If they survive the night, that's fair. So she and all her friends are in the old murder house. Was there an old murder house where you were growing up?
Not really, that I can remember.
Oh.
Not that we called the old murder house.
We definitely had one. We didn't call it the old murder house, but there was definitely a worse name for it. And I will tell you about that later.
There was an area of town called Devil's Hollow, though.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I'm sorry, are you from the town from fucking Jennifer's Body?
And there was like this whole rumor of like a baby that got killed out there and stuff. And like if you're out there late at night, you can hear it crying and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, in Santa Cruz, there's a graveyard with like a baby in like a glass mausoleum. And like the baby like talks to people at night. And
Yeah.
like you can hear crying if you drive by it and shit.
There's always that rumor.
Everyone had the same childhood.
Yeah.
Like,
And everybody was in the same town, even if it was a big one.
yeah. Yeah, I'm like Santa Cruz, where the Lost Boys are from.
Yeah.
My parents saw the Lost Boys musical and they were like, I just don't get why they'd be in Santa Cruz. Like, it's a bad place for vampires to be. And I'm like, that's where you suspend disbelief?
Not the musical part?
Yeah. Now that they were singing and dancing vampire. Anyway. So Carrie and her friend's old murder house, there are footsteps approaching her, but she doesn't hear whistling, which is extra fucked up.
This is a different murderer.
Yeah, this is a separate thing that's just targeting young women. As she freaks out, hearing the steps come close to her, Forrest and Peggy hear her screaming. And then one asshole laughing, saying, you should have seen your face.
Now guess that scream.
Oh, no, right? Forrest asks, okay, what the hell is going on here? And the asshole on the other line asks Carrie if she called the cops while he laughs at her. He says, it was just a prank hand. I love Until Dawn. Carrie calls the asshole Jimmy and screams, Jimmy, that wasn't funny. Peggy says, oh shit, that's that little fart spraying shithead that called in pretending to be the whistling man earlier.
Oh, Jimmy, damn it.
Now, she didn't say that verbatim, but I really wanted to say that.
Okay.
On the line, Carrie says, hey, this shit isn't funny, but on whistling night, it's a stupid tradition to prank each other in honor of the night the whistling man died, so regrettably, this is just some town shit. She really emphasizes that this is in very bad taste, especially because a kid died a while back on whistling night.
Jesus.
Carrie tells her friend with the mask on to take off the mask, assuming it's her friend Seth. But it's not Seth. In fact, Carrie and her friends look around and everyone's accounted for. And now they realize there's a stranger with them here wearing the Whistling Man mask. We hear Jimmy demand to know who's under the mask. And then we hear a knife plunge into Jimmy and we hear his last breaths.
Oh shit, bye Jimmy.
Goodbye, Jimmy. Carrie jumps into action, demanding her friends get inside and lock the doors. Inside, still on the phone, Carrie repeats that they're at the old murder house and she thinks about what to do. She remembers they have a van and they can get out of there. Except the keys are on Jimmy.
Oh, damn it.
And he's out there with the Whistling Man and his face was carved off.
Ooh.
So that's a dead end. Carrie sighs, wishing Jeannie were here. Jeannie's the smartest of them all, but she was staying in tonight because she didn't want to go to the murder house on Whistling Night.
Why would you not want to do that?
You know, survival.
Fucking Jeannie.
Peggy recognizes Jeannie's name. Jeannie's the intern they have at the station. Carrie starts yelling at all her friends to shut the fuck up. She tells Forrest she's working on a plan, but all these goddamn knuckleheads are all volunteering to do dumb shit they don't know how to do. She tells Forrest he'll have to be the tiebreaker, and now it's Forrest's responsibility to tell this group of teens he's never met on how to get out of a murder house he's never been to.
But I'll bet Peggy has an exact diagram somewhere here in the radio station. Oh no.
Tom.
Is that exactly what's gonna happen? I'm sorry, I'm guessing it all. Andrea's just flipping me off right now.
So Peggy has Forrest go down to Jeannie's desk. Jeannie has a friendship quiz that ranks her friends' skill sets. Things like running or being able to pick locks. Using the exact diagram of what her friends' skill sets are, Forrest takes Jeannie's fucking quiz thing and is like, all right, now I have the key to helping the horny co-eds get away from the murderer. Because as Tom called it, of course there's a key to this puzzle. So based on this, Forrest and Carrie get back on the line, and Carrie's like, all right, here's my plan. I need someone to run. Who should be the runner? Man who's never met any of us. And Forrest is like, well, according to Jeannie's friendship test, this one's the fastest, so you should have him run. And she's like, great, thank God you were here. In what situation would this be the correct thing to do?
Oh, God. The one where I guess everything that happens.
So Peggy is listening to this, and she's like, honestly, I'm kind of impressed. I really hope you guys all survive. And Carrie's like, thanks, babe.
Good luck out there, kids.
Carrie stays on the phone line while they execute the plan. Since Carrie didn't know Jimmy very well, she says she'll pick up the keys from the body. She's fucking horrified when she sees Jimmy's face, because his face is lying next to his body.
Oh, God.
It's really gruesome. We thankfully don't see it, but oof. Carrie is a badass, though, and she pushes forward to get the keys. Carrie gets the keys to the van, and she gets the keys to her friends, but the Whistling Man rolls up on her and tries to take her. She screams at her friends to drive off and save themselves. Ugh, Carrie, you martyr. The Whistling Man comes to Carrie, and she screams at him, her blood curdling in her voice as she yells for her life. Forrest and Peggy yell for her, and then it's quiet.
Oh, no.
Peggy says, he just stared at me and then walked into the woods. Alone, Carrie thanks Forrest and Peggy for their help. She says she'll call back when she's somewhere safe. Carrie's the fucking best.
Wow.
The next caller is a young man who's thanking Forrest for what he's doing tonight. He really appreciates the work and that Forrest is helping keep the town safe. This guy is Roller Ricky, and I fucking love Roller Ricky.
Immediately, the name alone makes me love Roller Ricky.
I'm like, you're my favorite person. Carrie's a bad bitch, but like Roller Ricky's a sweet little boy. Roller Ricky is still at work. He's getting the roller rink ready for the Harvest Festival. He's working on installing a new Starling 4000 security system as well. Now, Rolling Ricky is a bit of a yapper, but he is a sweet guy who's filling his night with the radio and trying to stay safe. He says when he was younger, he rolled with a bad crowd, and after a bad incident, he started harboring guilt and drinking heavily. But he turned it around with the help of a support group, and he started unloading his guilt and telling his story. After that, He found roller disco.
As you do.
And it saved him, and his life is awesome now. He wants to share that it's just important to talk to others about your problems. Like, what a sweet boy.
Yeah.
He also adopted a very good boy, a dog named Max. Max also knows how to roller skate, and I am so mad they didn't animate this into the game.
A roller skating dog? That's amazing.
I know. Max loves the roller rink because it's near a train track, and he likes to bark at the trains. Forrest thanks him for calling and dedicates the next song to Roller Ricky and Max. Peggy is like just honestly relieved. She's like unclenched and she's like, that was a really refreshing conversation after hearing so many people like escaping murderers all night.
It's another one of those calls that you just got to do your job.
Yeah. Carrie calls back and she says, hey, I'm home. I made it safe. Thank you so much for helping me out. And Forrest and Peggy are relieved. They're like, oh my God, this night's going fucking great now. Carrie is also really happy to be safe, but she's racked with guilt. She doesn't know why the whistling man didn't kill her when he really easily could have. Peggy tells Carrie that she did so well tonight and just stay safe. Carrie asks for a song, and Forrest agrees and dedicates the song to her. She is such a badass. We love Carrie.
I love that she's got survivor's guilt, though.
Immediately. During the song, Peggy talks to Forrest off air and is like, hey, it's super fucking weird they didn't kill Carrie, right? Like, he just had her alone. All her friends drove off. It's late at night. There's not even fucking witnesses. He could have killed her. And Forrest is like, yeah, but you know, like, we're dealing with a murderer and we don't always know why people do shit like this. We can't really get in the fucking backseat of the murderer and understand why he's doing everything.
We're trying to understand his motive here.
Yeah. Our next call is our breathy friend, Dawn. She's been listening and says the call with the sexy co-eds was just awful. She says she's so glad that girl didn't get hurt. She once again asks for her song to be played, the record that Peggy threw out the window. She reminds Forrest that he said he'd play it, but he didn't. And Forrest goes, yeah, but the record got thrown out a window, and there's a serial killer outside, which is also outside the window. So no, I'm not going to go rooting in the alley for a record, because I'm going to get fucking murdered, girl.
Yeah, I'm starting to suspect Dawn here.
Dawn fights him, saying that the serial killer is probably miles away from the radio station. Like, the old murder house is across town. There's no way the murderer could be there. You have enough time to go grab my fucking record. Aside from the song, Dawn also says, anyway, I think I know who's going to be next.
Oh.
Forrest is immediately mad about this weird as fuck statement. And Dawn says, all right, we'll play my song. And you'll find out. She's so breathy. It's like, it's a lot. She hangs up and Peggy is immediately skeeved out by Dawn. But she does tell Forrest to go get the record. And she says while Forrest is out, she'll hold down the fort. Forrest fucking hates this plan, but does go out into the dark alley, which is the same one we saw in the prologue, to go hunting through the trash for a record that Peggy hates so much she threw it out the window.
Is this the reveal that it was the same one? Like, this is the first time you know that this is the same, like, back alley?
Yes. Yeah,
oh,
okay. It's just revealed this is the back alley behind the radio station.
Honestly, though, Forrest, he had every right to say, Peggy, you threw it out, you go fucking get it.
But she can't leave her post.
She can for this.
Like, I give you permission for this. It's fine.
I'll man the phones, you know.
It's dark at night, and Forrest is walking down a dark alley between old brick buildings. There's trash littered on the ground, and it's quiet. Thankfully, he finds the record and goes back to the door, which unfortunately locked behind him.
God damn it, Peggy.
So now he's trapped outside while a serial killer is on the loose, and Forrest has been the only thing stopping him from getting more kills. With the main door locked, Forrest goes through the basement to get back into the building. Downstairs, he sees the janitor's closet and goes, oh wait, Peggy said our janitor's name is Clive, like the guy who Dr. Virginia mentioned while she was being stalked by the whistling man. It's my duty to investigate this.
Kind of, yeah, at this point.
You're basically a detective now, man. Like, go in.
Again, Clive, not a common name.
The janitor's office looks regular, but there's a strange glow coming from one of the large high school-style lockers. Forrest opens the locker door and finds a fucking secret office inside.
Of course there is.
Of course there is. So obviously he goes through and enters the secret office. The room is lit with dangling red bulbs, drowning the room in a warm glow. There's a board with pictures of townsfolk and locations and notes on a bunch of people in the town. There's news articles that have to do with the townsfolk on the board. There's a page that looks like it was torn from a yearbook of townies who have since grown up. There's a fucking whole area of mannequin parts.
Ugh.
Just loose mannequin parts.
Terrifying. Why are mannequins so fucking scary?
Room full of nightmares. Forrest is horrified and says, "Oh, Peggy's not going to believe this." Forrest looks through the board and there's some notes on someone who died at the Harvest Festival. And he remembers Carrie mentioned some kid who died on Whistling Night, which lines up with this festival death. It's all insane, but Forrest goes back up to check on Peggy, who has felt like she was left hanging. She says Forrest was gone forever. And Forrest is like, okay, well, Clive might be the murderer.
Yeah.
So,
there's a whole red room back there. It's
Yeah.
fucking terrifying.
yeah, he catches her up on his journey, starting with complaining about how the door locked behind him and talking about that for way too long before getting to the fucking point about the secret murder room. At around 2:40 a.m., Forrest has finally caught Peggy up and has hauled Clive's murder-ass, board up to the office. So he's just racking shit up. He's like, all right, let's bring the board up. Peggy looks at the board and sees the names Chuck Brody, Kim Walker, Rebecca Allen, and Aunt Williams. Those are the main people Clive seems to be tracking, which are people we have not met yet.
Okay, I was like, those names don't sound familiar yet.
There are also 4 locations: the power station, the gas station, the hospital, and the trailer park. Peggy figures that one of these people must be the Whistling Man's next victim, and one of those locations is going to be where it happens. And Forrest says, yep, that's the game mechanic we're doing here. He doesn't say that, but you get it. They have to figure out who is the next victim and where they are so they can warn them and save them. Forrest goes to the board and follows the clues. Of the 4 people, Chuck, Kim, Rebecca, and Aunt, Kim has passed away in a separate incident, so it's not her. Between the remaining 3, Chuck, Rebecca, and Aunt, Rebecca has moved out of town. We're down to Chuck and Aunt. Aunt appears to be out of town for a convention, leaving Chuck as the only one left in town tonight. A news clipping shows that Chuck bought a gas station with some lottery winnings to keep himself busy. It's gotta be Chuck, and he's probably at his gas station. Peggy dials the gas station, and thankfully, Chuck picks up. Forrest frantically explains that they believe the Whistling Man is coming for him, and he has to evacuate the gas station as soon as possible. It's almost 3 a.m.
Right.
Chuck is reasonably confused and angry that someone called him and screams that there's a serial killer after him.
So he's not one of the 35 listeners of the radio program.
He was probably doing a crossword puzzle, is just kind of waiting to see if a trucker comes by to buy gas, and is like, why are you calling, screaming that I'm about to be murdered? I'm at work. And then he stops and is beside himself. He says, oh my God, it's today. The 1 year I let myself forget. No, I have to get out of here. The line goes quiet, except for footsteps tearing ass away from the receiver. Peggy figures he got out of there and takes the call off the air. Forrest wishes Chuck well on the air and then hears Peggy screaming. She says it sounded like there was an explosion on the line before she hung up.
Oh no.
Chuck calls back and says he got out and everyone else that was at the gas station also got out.
Everyone else? How many fucking people were at the gas station at 3 a.m.?
I'm guessing one trucker and maybe a cat, a
my
bodega
God.
cat. The whole thing went up in flames, including the town's only ambulance. And now he has to get to the hospital after catching some fire. Chuck thanks Forrest for saving his life, but he says he's got to get out of there. Forrest is so exhausted. He's been at work for 3 hours. And all of this is happening. He's like, what happened today? What is going on that's messing with Chuck? Why is everyone freaking the fuck out? Why is this happening?
Systematically taking out every service vehicle in town as well.
Very thoughtful on the killer's end, to be real. Peggy says the call board is lighting up and tells him to put on a song while she goes through the callers. While Forrest spins a record, Peggy tells him to go back downstairs and hunt through Clive's shit. There's got to be more information down there on whatever's happening here and who's next on Clive's list. Peggy is adamant that they can stop the killings before Clive can get to his victims. Forrest goes back down into this creepy-ass basement and finds another office with more of Clive's shit. There's a series of cassette tapes through the office area. The first cassette tape begins, and also the cassette tapes are in players. This person had multiple players, which were more expensive.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. The first one begins by saying that it all started in 1968 with George Barrow. Peggy jump scares the shit out of Forrest by listening in on the office intercom and saying, "Whoa, George Barrow was a kid that drowned after a night of drinking." It's important. You should actually remember this.
I was going to say, probably unrelated. Nope.
Forrest begs Peggy to not scare the shit out of him. He's already in a creepy basement. At least give me like a copy, I'm on the line. Peggy wonders if Clive killed George Barrow, if the drowning was a cover-up, and if Clive's been a murderer for years. Forrest calms her and focuses on finding all the tapes to put the story together, because that's how the gameplay works. The next few cassettes are recordings of a woman doing an autopsy on George Barrow, saying he died of asphyxiation from drowning. She notes small lacerations to the arms, legs, and face, and blisters on his feet. She says it appears that the subject was running through the woods without stopping. Forrest finds a police report from Sheriff Matthews, tonight's first victim, saying that he got a call from Sandra Sharp, who found the body on a jazz walk.
Oh, those goddamn jazz walks.
Sandra was the second attempted victim of the Whistling Man tonight, and she found a body washed up in the reservoir, and that body was identified as George Barrow. The next cassette is more of the autopsy, with a woman explaining that toxicology shows there was nothing in George Barrow's system. He was not drunk when he died. She does note an elevated amount of cortisol, showing that there was a high amount of stress right before he died. This boy died scared out of his mind.
Changes the narrative on what Peggy knew.
Girl. The autopsy report notes a post-mortem injury on his arm, like he was trapped in a car door. She concludes by saying that George likely feared for his life and was chased, resulting in a fall from a great height into a body of water where he hit his head, was knocked out, and drowned. Following that, he was moved. The autopsy report is interrupted when a man disrupts the autopsy, referring to the coroner as Dr. Sullivan. This is Dr. Virginia Sullivan, one of the attempted victims of tonight.
Yeah.
The man tells her to shut off her recorder. They need to talk off the record. Forrest finds the official autopsy report that shows that George Barrow drowned, but there are no reports of his other injuries that were in the tape recording of the autopsy. It also states that he had high levels of alcohol in his system when he died, despite the actual toxicology showing he was sober.
Interesting.
Clive has a handwritten note on this report saying, "I'm sorry I made you do this, Virginia." George Barrow didn't die from being drunk and drowning. He was chased off Whistling Point and died in fear, and he was completely covered up. But why? The last cassette that Forrest finds is from Clive himself. It opens in a totally casual way. "If you're listening to this, I'm dead."
Oh no.
The voice sounds just like the voice that interrupted the autopsy and told Virginia to turn off the recorder. From the grave, Clive says he likes to stay informed. He subscribes to newspapers from all over the country. He started noticing reports on deaths of people he knew when he was young. People who were all involved in George Barrow's death almost 20 years ago. Someone was hunting the people who covered up George's death.
Ooh.
The deaths were coming closer and closer to Gallows Creek, the radius closing in as it got closer to September 3rd, the night George died. He says that none of them are innocent. He says he tried to help. He didn't kill anyone. But he didn't help either. He says he was told by his employer that if he ever spoke out about what really happened to George, his family would be at risk. He ends by saying he hopes whoever listens to these tapes can put the truth together. Someone is out there avenging the death of George. Someone is trying to kill everyone involved in George's death. That's why Carrie didn't die. Carrie was an innocent. Clive was never the Whistling Man. Clive died in the prologue.
Oh, shit. Okay, that's why it was outside in the back alley. All right.
Yeah, he was the first death. Forrest goes to the intercom to tell Peggy he found an autopsy tape for George Barrow and how it doesn't line up with the official autopsy report that was published. Forrest goes through all the clues, and the one that stands out is where Sandra found the body, in the reservoir. Peggy says, but his body had cuts and blisters from running through the woods. There's no woods by the reservoir. Somebody moved the body there purposefully after he died. Peggy agrees this is a conspiracy to cover up what really happened to George Barrow. Forrest concludes by saying he found a confession from Clive, and it sounds like the Whistling Man already got him. Peggy realizes the board in his office It wasn't a murder board. Clive was trying to find everyone involved and save them or warn them. The psycho stalking was for good.
Oh, I had a feeling that was going to be a red herring entirely.
They come to the conclusion someone wanted to make George's death look like an accident, and that someone paid Clive to make it look that way. It's 3 a.m., and Forrest goes back upstairs to his on-air booth. Peggy says she's been finding dumb shit to fluff the show up, but how can they do a show when they're actively stumbling on a murder conspiracy? And Forrest says, this is the job. They're just gonna have to do it.
The show must go on.
I know. They call Virginia back. They need to know what's going on, and she's in the center of all of this. When they call Dr. Sullivan, Frat Man Plunker answers the phone.
Hell yeah.
Clearly still at Virginia's house to protect her from the vengeful whistling man. Frat Man Plunker puts Virginia on to talk to Forrest, and Forrest gets straight to it, asking about Clive. Virginia denies knowing anyone named Clive. Forrest explains that Clive is dead, and Virginia flips on her own truth and says, but Clive is the whistling man! Bitch, we got you. Forrest tells Virginia they found her original autopsy notes that show what really happened to George Barrow, and it's straightforward. He asks why she lied. Virginia lets her guard down and says, all right. One day, I come to work, I find a boy on my slab. After I finish my autopsy report, Clive bursts in and starts making demands to falsify the report. Clive promises that his employer would help my sick sister if I lied, and if I didn't, Clive would beat the shit out of me.
Oh my God.
My sister's sick and she needed me. I couldn't keep up with her medical bills. I felt terrible. Virginia hangs up after admitting the worst thing she's ever done on a live radio broadcast.
She needed a few drinks in her from the frat boys to open up about that.
They made her do a keg stand. She's like, all right, listen, my sister, not good. Didn't want to get my ass beat. I'm sorry, bye. Forrest knows she was honest. Peggy says next they have to call their friend Sandra. Sandra found the body. She may know something. They call Sandra, and I cannot emphasize enough that it is 3 in the goddamn morning. And Sandra answers, cheery as all hell, fucking jazz walking around her kitchen. Forrest works on warming up Sandra, who eventually admits to everything. She tells Forrest, this dance studio is my life. After I found the body in the river, I couldn't lose my studio. The rent just kept going up. He said he'd stop if I just stayed quiet, and then everything would be okay. It's not like I killed him. What's the harm in saying I found him in the reservoir instead of in the river? I'm sorry, I can't do this. And then she hangs up. Someone was extorting Sandra, using her studio as leverage to make her lie about a dead boy. Peggy's on the edge of her seat, and she patches in the next call. A concerned citizen asking for a birthday message for his uncle. Forrest asks if he'd like to include anything specific in the message, and the caller says, yes, tell him he can get the best birthday deals and party packages here at Pawnee's Pizza.
I knew it was going to be fucking Pawnee's Pizza.
Peggy hangs up and Forrest screams, you son of a bitch, stop calling us.
That's such a great running gag of Pawnee's Pizza.
Peggy patches the next call in. It's someone breathing heavy, and it sounds like they're holding back tears. Forrest tries to coax them out a bit, gently asking who's there. But then the booming voice breaks the tension, saying, Pawnee's Pizza always delivers. Come rain or sleek or serial killers.
Or serial killers.
We'll be there for you.
Oh, this guy is fucking relentless.
Yeah, Pawnee laughs and then just, like, hangs up.
He's relentless like a serial killer.
Dun, dun, dun. He knows where everyone lives.
Yeah.
With all the deliveries.
Oh, no.
Forrest is going to be Gallows Creek next murderer if Brian Pawnee keeps calling in. Peggy earnestly asks if Forrest is okay, and Forrest tells Peggy, on air, that he hopes the whistling man murders Brian Ponte with his own pizza slicer. Forrest is like, oh, I'm sorry, that was kind of fucked up, but people who are listening, do not spend your money at Ponte's Pizza.
They're never gonna forget Pawnee's Pizza after tonight.
Go to Chalupa Cabra. The next call comes in, and it's Dawn. Forrest is excited to tell her he played her song, and she says, I don't care. Now I need your help. He's after me now. Forrest springs into save-a-ho mode for Dawn, and Dawn says she was just trying to help Forrest on the radio, and the whistling man must have heard and found her because she feels like she's being followed. She got back to her apartment building, and they have a new security system, and she's locked out of her building. She just moved, and she doesn't know her neighbors, and the system is a keypad, no keys to get into the complex. It's loud. It sounds like a train is going by, and Forrest hears a dog barking. He said her apartment sounds great, by the way. Dawn says she could see the whistling man down the street, and she begs for help. She says the building uses a Starling 4000 security system. Maybe he knows something about these devices?
No, but I'm sure there's a manual somewhere in the fucking radio station.
There's gotta be, right? Forrest says he'll look into it, and Dawn thanks him profusely. Forrest puts a song on and tells Peggy that, Dawn wasn't as chatty as usual. Peggy says, that's weird. Dawn's fucking weird. There's something going on with this bitch. And Forrest is like, honestly, it was weird, but we have to help her. Peggy says that the station also has a Starling 4000 security unit, so they definitely have an instruction manual for this exact security system somewhere.
There it is.
Forrest goes back into Clive's creepy-ass basement and finds the instruction manual for the Starling 4000 security unit. Next to the manual is a delivery note for the Starling 4000 security units, and weirdly, it says that the apartment building Dawn is at doesn't have the unit installed yet. Hers is scheduled to be installed on September 17th, and tonight is the night of September 3rd. This isn't lining up.
Yeah.
Forrest brings the manual up to the booth, and Peggy is really happy he found it, but is then confused because Forrest is like, hey, so I have a list of everyone who has a device installed, and you know who was and wasn't on there? And Peggy's like, oh, that's weird. Wait, we talked about Starling 4000s earlier. Oh my god, Roller Rick and Max.
Oh no. She's just trying to break in there. Dawn, I don't trust you.
This breathy bitch. Peggy has Dawn on line 1, and Forrest tells her to put Dawn on the air. Instead of giving Dawn the unlock access code, he gives her the alarm test activation code. Instead of opening the door, she'll kick off the alarm. If she really is at the roller rink, next to the trains where the dogs are barking, like they heard earlier,
right,
Ricky will know she's there. Dawn thanks him and punches in the code, not realizing it's the fucking test thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't hang up, so we hear the alarm ring out, and we hear Roller Ricky screaming at Dawn to get out and stay out, and he's gonna call the fucking cops.
Good luck.
This bitch. Right? Like, call the cops, do you mean Forrest and Peggy again,
you're
babe?
just gonna be talking to the radio again.
Roller Ricky finds Dawn's phone and finds out it's Forrest on the line. He says, oh my god, that was him! That was the whistling man!
Oh, fucking Dawn.
He tells Forrest the alarm gave him enough time to grab his rifle and scare off the whistling man. He promises that Forrest and Peggy can come by and skate for free anytime, and then he hangs up so he can barricade the place and keep Max the dog safe. Forrest is bewildered and puts on a song so he can process what just happened.
The fact that he just keeps going back to playing music on the radio is so fucking funny.
And here's Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Now, I fucked this one up.
Oh no.
I wasn't paying enough attention, and I gave Dawn the code to unlock the gate.
No! You trusted Dawn.
I did, and in that version, Dawn gets in and immediately shoots Max.
No!
Roller Ricky goes to the body of his best friend, and he sobs for the dog, and through tears, he screams that Max had never done anything wrong.
You got the dog killed?
Another shoot rings out, and Ricky's crying stops.
No! The dog and Ricky?
And then Dawn picks up the phone and says, thanks again for the code, Forrest. And then she hangs up, and it's genuinely like the most devastating kill in the game, and it's the one I got, and I was like, oh my god, I fucked up. I fucked up so bad.
Oh, Dawn of the Dead indeed.
Girl! Now, back to the good run, because this one sucks. Peggy is surprised that the whistling man is a woman. It's the 1980s, and women can break into male-dominated fields now, but Jesus Christ, bitch! Forrest addresses all 35 listeners, warning them to not trust a woman named Dawn, or anyone that could possibly be a fake name. Just stay safe.
Don't trust women.
Is that why he got canceled?
Don't listen to her.
Their next call is our badass friend Murphy. He says he's been listening from home while staying safe, and he insists that the whistling man is a man. He didn't get cornered by no lady.
This fucking guy's misogyny took over, like,
fully.
I'm not letting anybody think some woman got the better of me.
Yeah, like, he truly cannot comprehend that we, like, have it hard confirmed Dawn is the whistling man. Murphy says that is the first time he ever even heard of the Whistling Man. He moved here 3 years ago. He had no ties to George Barrow.
What is drawing new people to Gallows Creek?
What's the pull here?
Like, there are too many people moving in.
Yeah, like with small towns.
They gotta offer something.
Yeah, maybe he's really into corn mazes? Oh. So, it's weird that Murphy wasn't part of the vengeance plan and was just like a scare tactic for the town, but that's probably why he was left for dead and not outright killed.
Mm.
The next call is a frantic woman named Casey Moore. She gives her address and says her friend Jason, Jason, you see what I did there, has been stabbed and he's bleeding out and she doesn't know what to do. She says she and Jason had been out at the reservoir when they heard whistling. Jason screamed at her to run and hide, so she hid in a bush. Jason then went to talk to someone in the dark and got stabbed by a man in an all-black outfit wearing a mask. She says after Jason got stabbed, the masked man ran off. After the masked man was gone, she went to Jason and dragged him to the house to keep him safe. It looks like he's been stabbed in the stomach and the leg. Peggy patches in a call to the ER for help. As we know, the town's only ambulance was blown up when the gas station was blown up.
Right.
So we're kind of fucked on getting help. A night nurse walks Forrest through some basic first aid. Do not pull out the knife, use clean bandages, apply pressure, but also, I have to go. I cannot stay on a line. We have a lot of attempted murder victims in the lobby. So I'm fucking busy, dude.
Weird excess of this one thing.
Yeah, she's like, I'm used to doing, like, ear infections. Like, maybe stitches if a kid, like, falls off a bike, but this is ridiculous.
There are 3 of us working the ER shift.
There are 3 of us that live here. Forrest gets back on with Casey to talk her through some first aid for Jason. Peggy taps Forrest privately and tells him that we can't stay on the line with Casey all night. Dawn is still out there and we have to help the town. Forrest knows Peggy's right and knows they need to get better medical aid to Jason before he bleeds out. Peggy says that the station did a first aid training course together. She missed it, but there are a lot of employees that went and some that don't live too far from where Casey said she is. Peggy sends Forrest into their station manager Reggie's office, where all the personnel files are kept. Peggy warns Forrest that Reggie is a big believer in the future is floppy. Which is...
Floppy?
It's just a silly way of saying all the files are on floppy disks.
Oh my god. Okay. That made more sense. I was like, where is he going with this?
You're like, it's 3 a.m., it's after dark, what are we doing? We're a love line.
Yeah.
Forrest fucking hates this town. He doesn't like floppy disks. He doesn't like Reggie. He doesn't like murderers. He doesn't like this bullshit. But this is his job, and the show must go on.
In Chicago, we already moved on to CD-ROM.
Yeah. In the big city, Shane.
Yeah.
Forrest breaks into Reggie's office, where he goes through floppy disks of the employees until he finds a record for John Hedges. He's a newsreader who lives down the block from where Casey and Jason are, and he refused to do the first aid training because he was a war medic and thought the training would be a waste of time. Reggie has a note in John's file that John hoards medical equipment that he procured from the military before being discharged. This is perfect. A military medic who stole a bunch of medical equipment. Forrest tells Peggy that John Hedges is nearby and is oddly prepared for this exact scenario. See, he's the guy that sits facing the door, but he can do something about it.
Yeah.
Peggy is surprised, but realizes she's never really had a meaningful conversation with him, so sure, why not?
You work opposite shifts. That makes sense.
There's 20 people in town, bitch. Have a coffee with him. Peggy calls John, who is furious that anyone's calling him at 3 a.m., because that is insane. He's the only reasonable person in this entire town. Forrest explains to John that this is a work emergency. Someone's been stabbed, and they need him to help. John needs a little bit of convincing that this is a real situation, because he's like, this has got to be a prank. And he's like, I specifically wrote in my contract.
I don't do pranks, bro.
No pranks.
It's not a prank, bro.
Right. John finally buys in and is like, all right, I live for this. Let's fucking do this. Forrest and Peggy tell Casey that help is on the way, and they stay on the line until John shows up, ready to patch up the wound. Peggy and Forrest are absolutely exhausted. It's the middle of the night. They've been dealing with a serial killer for their entire shift. This is way worse than being a barista. Forrest takes a call from Roller Ricky and Max. Roller Ricky called to thank Forrest and Peggy and relay some information. He knows Jason, that guy that got stabbed. Roller Ricky and Jason were on the football team at Gallows Creek High together, with the guy that drowned, George Barrow. They had their first team party the night George drowned. Roller Ricky says that once the party turned down, he left, and he wasn't there when George drowned, but he does remember that George and his girlfriend were at the party. The two of them were super into each other. Unfortunately, Roller Ricky had never seen her before, and he didn't get her name, but he remembered George called her Bean. Forrest presses Roller Ricky for more information on George's girlfriend, and all Roller Ricky remembers is that she was pretty. He tries to remember the party, but it's been years, and all he can remember is that everyone was having a good time. Then out of nowhere, everyone was running for their lives. He looked up and he saw the Whistling Man in the trees. It was whistling night, and he just saw the Whistling Man, and he just ran straight home. He didn't even hear about George drowning until the next day at school. Peggy clocks the date, and that's the one night these asshole kids love to pretend to be the Whistling Man. It's just a prank, Han.
Right.
Roller Ricky says, if anyone deserved to die that night, it should have been me. Forrest reassures Roller Ricky that George's death was not his fault. Roller Ricky thanks him, calls out therapy for being amazing, and says he's going to free up the phone lines. Now, I didn't get that because I got him killed like an asshole.
So none of that backstory came to you.
Yeah, so it kind of felt really random that Roller Ricky and Jason were involved.
Right.
Because I just didn't get this lore, so fuck me, I guess. Peggy patches through a call to Forrest, and it's Leslie! I forgot about Leslie!
We all did.
She and Deputy Martinez are heading back with a whole squad from Henderson following behind her.
Oh, great.
Help is on the way. Relieved, Forrest takes the next call. It's John Hedges, who's still with Jason and Casey. He reports that Jason is stabilized and resting in bed, and they're getting ready to move him to the hospital. Forrest and Peggy are over the moon that Jason is okay, and Jason hops on the line to say John gave him some painkillers, and he feels amazing!
He stole the good drugs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get discharged, take some fun shit on the way out with you. Forrest takes this opportunity to tell Jason that they spoke to Roller Ricky earlier. Jason's happy to hear Roller Ricky is okay, because Andrea didn't kill him in this
Right.
room.
I was going to say, you didn't hear this part.
I fucked this up. Peggy tells Forrest she's going to screen another call really quick to see if it's another emergency. She tells Forrest to fill Jason in on what's going on tonight. Forrest tells Jason that Roller Ricky told them about George, and Jason says, oh, it's all coming out now. And then he tells him, I'm part of the reason my best friend is dead. Jason explains that he was told to be quiet or he'd be in jail for a long time.
He was the asshole in the tree.
He says he went along with a stupid whistling night prank. Some of the guys on the football team had this idea to haze the new guys and decided to plan a party in the woods and have the Whistling Man crash it. It was stupid. And they all had roles. Jason was supposed to pretend to be stabbed. And then he got fucking stabbed.
Oh.
At some point during the party, Jason stepped away and met with the Whistling Man and pretended to get stabbed in front of everyone. Everyone screamed and freaked out, and that was the last time Jason saw George alive.
Jesus.
He didn't see where George went because he was playing dead, but when he heard George's girlfriend scream, he knew something had gone wrong. Forrest asks if that was Bean, and Jason says, yeah, that was George's nickname for her. Jason tells Forrest he heard her again tonight. He says Bean's name was, but then the lights cut out.
Oh.
The line goes dead. The entire station is engulfed in darkness because the power is out. Through the glass of her booth, Peggy says, they're off air. The power's completely gone. Forrest asks how to get the power back on, and Peggy says, in the basement, they have
A goddamn generator.
A goddamn generator.
There's always a goddamn generator.
See? Peggy sends Forrest downstairs to the creepy-ass basement to get the power back on. The building lights back up and hums with electricity. Just as Forrest hears the humming of a whistle echoing through the halls.
Oh no.
Forrest jumps into action. He needs to warn Peggy. He tries to hit the intercom from the basement, but Peggy isn't responding. He gets back upstairs and his on-air booth is locked, and Peggy's booth is wide open and empty.
No.
That door's been closed all night. We have not been able to get in there.
She has refused to leave that fucking booth.
Forrest is scared of this because she's been, again, to your point, so adamant she can't leave her booth during the shift. and now she's entirely missing. Forrest goes into Peggy's booth to see if she's hiding under the desk or something. He steps all the way in and turns to see the Whistling Man slamming the door shut and locking Forrest in Peggy's booth. The Whistling Man steps into Forrest's booth, staring at Forrest through the glass that separated him and Peggy. The Whistling Man points at the call board where there's one call waiting. Forrest answers, and it's Dawn. She says, "It's good to talk to you again, Forrest." She really enjoyed their chats tonight. Forrest demands to know where Peggy is, and Dawn tells him to be patient. Forrest stares at the Whistling Man in front of him, not moving, not holding a phone. The Whistling Man in front of him is not Dawn. Dawn says, "I thought we'd end tonight's Whistling Man special with a special guest. The one who started it all." Teddy Gallo Jr.'s voice rings out, calling Dawn a crazy bitch.
Oh.
Dawn says, "It's all gonna come out tonight, Teddy. Your daddy and his money saved you 20 years ago. But even if he crawled out of his coffin with all the money in the world." Forrest asks where she is, and Dawn says she's with Teddy, which begs the question, who is under the mask here with Forrest? Dawn is proud to announce that the Whistling Man here with Forrest is her son, Henry Barrow. Dawn and George had a son. She was barely pregnant when George died. Forrest puts together that there were 2 Whistling Men tonight. That's how they covered so much of the town so quickly.
Like in Scream!
Yes! One of them was going after Casey.
Oh, God! Oh, that's so good.
Surprise, Forrest. Teddy Gallows Jr. is a moron and goes, "Wait, Barrow?" Dawn takes off her Whistling Man mask and reveals who she is to Teddy Gallows Jr. Teddy Gallows Jr. looks at her face, remembering her, and he calls her Marie Campbell. Marie punches Teddy in the face. Marie announces on air that everyone's gonna know what Teddy did. He killed George that night, this night, 20 years ago. Marie starts hitting the shit out of Teddy. She demands that Forrest help her reveal everything that happened that night. She says all these people Forrest tried to save were in on it and covered up what happened to George. She demands that Forrest interview her on air. The interview of a lifetime. And she tells him to do a good job and offers that he may be the only one to come out of here alive. Quietly, Forrest figures if he can buy enough time with Marie, Leslie will have enough time to save everyone. She's almost back. This could work. So Forrest indulges Marie, telling Teddy to recount everything he remembers from that night. Teddy reveals he was behind the Whistling Night party prank. It was all his idea. They went up near Whistling Point, where the original Whistling Man had fallen to his death. In the middle of the party, they kicked off the prank. Marie takes over telling the story, that they all looked up and saw Jason looking like he'd been stabbed. Everyone ran, and Marie and George got separated. The Whistling Man ran up on Marie and grabbed her, and she screamed, but he just started laughing. He said, "It's just a joke! It's just a joke!" The Whistling Man who grabbed Marie was Chuck Brody, but Teddy Gallows Jr. was also dressed as the Whistling Man. There were 2 back then, too.
Oh, they just took a page out of their book.
Teddy had been chasing George. Marie saw them up at the edge of Whistling Point. Teddy says he reached out to pull George away from the edge, but Marie says she saw Teddy push George off the cliff. Teddy breaks down, calling Marie a bitch and screaming that no one will believe her. He says his future was at stake. He couldn't save George, but he could keep his future clean. He swears he's going to be the mayor of this town. He says it was a mistake, a stupid mistake, and his father cleaned everything up. Then he says, "Why should a blip end my future?" Forrest tells him straight up that is an evil thing to say.
Yeah.
They go through every attempted victim. Sandra, who lied about where she found George's body. Sheriff Matthews accepting the falsified reports. Dr. Virginia Sullivan lying on the autopsy. Clive acting as muscle for the Gallows family. The boys who were on the football team that were in on the prank. The reporter who pushed the false narrative. Even Carrie and her friends who were keeping the pranking tradition alive. Even Eugene, the virgin. His dead parents were at the party, so Marie figured killing their kid would be the next best thing for vengeance.
Oh, no. Poor Eugene. He is...
Truly the most innocent. Like, are you kidding me? Marie keeps beating the shit out of Teddy and talks about George, how they met in high school at the Gallows High gym. Henry Barrow starts pacing around, staring at Forrest as Forrest unravels where his mother is hiding. Forrest announces that they're at Gallows High Gymnasium where this all started, and with that, a familiar voice perks up on the line with Marie. To the side of Peggy's soundboard is a card from when she turned 8 years old, signed by her sister, Marie.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't see that coming.
Peggy recognizes her estranged sister, the sister who disappeared after her boyfriend tragically died. Marie says she was concerned Peggy wouldn't come. Peggy is shocked to see her sister beating the shit out of Teddy Gallows Jr. She had no idea her own sister was the Whistling Man. She hadn't seen her since she left. Peggy says she stepped away to take a call while Forrest was talking to Jason, and she got a call from Dawn, saying that her sister was there the night George died, and that she should come to the gym for a reunion. And now she knows her sister is the Whistling Man. Marie simply says, "Nice to see you too, Peggy." Peggy says she basically panicked and ran off to the gym. She knows she should have said something, but she had to go quick. Sorry, Forrest. My bad. Peggy confronts Marie for disappearing, and Marie says her parents told her to keep quiet about it. Probably didn't help that Marie was pregnant. Marie says she should be going after Mom and Dad now, but since they're long dead, she'll settle for the next best thing.
Oh my God.
Peggy starts begging Marie to not do this. Forrest picks up the birthday card and promises Marie that Peggy never forgot about her. Forrest reads the card out loud, and Marie is shocked to hear that Peggy still gave a shit about her, still held the card. Just then, the studio's shadows are lit up with red and blue lights. The cops have arrived at the radio station, and also at the high school gym.
Oh, the cavalry's here.
Leslie had heard them on the radio when Forrest announced that they're at the gym, and they sent a crew after Marie and another crew after Henry and Forrest at the station. Glass from the windows is shattered into the booth that Henry's in as shots are fired up and at him from the cops. On the radio, Marie hears us and tells Henry to run. Leslie picks up the phone and tells Forrest that they're there. They have cops in pursuit of Marie at the high school gym, and they have Teddy and Peggy safe.
Oh, thank God.
They're about to capture Marie. The cops have the radio station surrounded to capture Henry. Leslie tells him, "It's over, Forrest." Forrest signs off, telling the town of Gallows Creek that this has been Forrest Nash, and it's been a scream.
Oh my God, he does not do a fucking... Oh.
People died, Forrest.
The fact that he does like a little catchphrase at the end of it, are you kidding me? His sign-off phrase and
His
shit.
sign-off.
Oh.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Forrest, you did not... I mean, this is going to be his new reel, to be honest. Like,
He's coming back to Chicago, baby.
he's like, oh, wait till you see what I did in my downtime, motherfuckers.
Now, the team wanted a best ending, save everyone, this golden path we talked about. A worst ending where everyone dies, and an in-between ending, the one that I got, where some live and some die. There were plans to reveal which Whistling Man attacked which person, so it's somewhat unclear which one is Dawn and Henry in this. There was an ending that got cut, which is if you killed everyone up until the end, Peggy would disappear, and you would come up to a box on the table, and it would have a Whistling Man mask in it, and Forrest would put it on and start whistling.
Oh.
Which is kind of crazy. And it was a bit of a wider scope than the rest of the endings, so they cut that one. Game developer Christopher Chester said that cutting was a regret of his because he really liked this version, even though it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, here in the Golden Path epilogue, we hear voices of the cops who are chasing Marie. They chased her into the woods, and she made it all the way up to Whistling Point, where she jumped.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
The cops can't find her body, and she is gone. And that was Killer Frequency, and it's been a scream.
Thanks for your sign-off phrase on that one.
I had to. I was inspired. No, it's fun. It's genuinely very fun. It has some good replayability to make sure you can get the right ones, because some puzzles are tricky. Some are like you have to look at a map and like cross-reference things, and like there's a lot of logic puzzles, but it is really fun.
It sounds fun, honestly. Like the fact that there's... I see what you mean by the until dawn of it all. Like, everybody can die. Some people can live. Like that whole thing. I love that about it.
Yeah, the inevitable deaths are Jimmy, who gets his face carved off when he's
Yeah.
with Carrie,
Oh.
and then Sheriff Matthews, because that happens, like, that kicks off everything, but...
And Clive.
Yeah, Clive, that's a bummer. It was really cool to be... When I was playing it, I was like, oh, I'm taking over the prologue and we're replaying it, and maybe I'll play as Peggy after this.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, we're going to go through the same sequence, but it's a different time, which is kind of cool. Ugh, I had a good time with it. I think it's a very fun game.
No, it was super fun. I know I was giving it kind of shit for like the hard buy-in of the
No.
entire plot.
And that's valid. I did too.
Like, here's the thing. This reception, like we were talking about, was so great for everybody.
Yeah.
Except for the chick that had to call the cops in the other town.
What do you mean?
Just go to the gas station that clearly has a working phone.
Go anywhere.
Literally anywhere else with a working phone and call them. Then you break that 4 hours down to 2.
Go to the ER.
Yeah.
They 100% have resources. Fucking ridiculous.
But also kind of love that because it was on the radio, then them coming into town, they were listening so they know where to go and shit like
Yeah,
that. So
totally.
it works out in that, it's hard buy-in, but a fun experience in the end.
But goddamn, that buy-in's crazy.
Yeah, Forrest is going to have a great career again.
Oh my god, he's
Like-
fully on the up and up. He's got a fucking murder podcast
I was going to
now.
say, yeah, he is definitely doing like a true crime podcast today.
He is on the true crime circuit at fucking Crime Con with all the girlies. Like, yeah, I saved everyone. And they're like, you're our hero, Forrest.
He and Peggy are best friends to this day.
No.
No, you
I
don't think so?
Peggy's like, that was crazy. I think I'm going to go back to college. And Forrest is like, why would I hang out with a 28-year-old? I'm 47.
Yeah. I've seen weirder friendships.
Oh,
Anyway.
that's a bummer. Well, it's been a stream. I hope you like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this.
Yes, you can check out our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com. There and wherever you're listening to this, we also have a link to our Patreon.
Yes, we have 2 exclusive shows where we do DLCs, histories, movie commentaries, and just general jib-jab, sounding a little bit like this.
This passes the Bechdel test better than any Christopher Nolan movie has to date.
You're not kidding. This is very reminiscent of like the opening cinematic to World of Warcraft, this sequence right here.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a mage going off?
Yeah, mage standing high above the battle, like calling on the fucking gods. Once we get Last of Us 3, then you can adapt that for sure.
Yeah.
But don't do like the Game of Thrones, we're gonna make up what happens next because they never fucking finished it. If you want to hear more, it starts at just $2 a month, which keeps our show completely ad-free.
And all our patrons get to hear this a day early. Now we're going to call out some of our producer patrons from the $5 and up tier because we love you, we appreciate you, and you're making our lives really easy. I love you. We thank you, Aaron, Amber, So with Anna Toasted,
Clinton, Daniel, Leah,
James, Ryan, Gunnar,
Clarissa, Ellen, Krisha,
Molly, Trenton, Chase,
Jutsu, Anna Versed, X of Triforce,
Luigi, Oliver, JCC.
Nimitz, Caroline, and Julio.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your help.
Yes, thank you all so much for listening, and as always, this is Tom and Andrea reminding you,
It's been a scream.
and don't skip the cutscenes.
Or we'll be right back.
Bye!